Because other people have red hair in this world, not just Irishmen.
Irish and Scottish.
Yeah, Scottish.
Yeah, my grandfather was an Irish immigrant, and my grandmother was Irish. On my grandparents were like full Irish on my dad's side, and then my
Okay.
mother's side was like Scottish. So as ginger as they come. That's what everybody's ginger with me.
What's that?
I'll do a picture.
Okay.
It's all about being cool.
So what kind of cut do you want to?
Can you do a V cut? I've never actually.
Yeah,
is that
for
what
sure.
this is? Mm-hmm. Do they all? I'm always. You got to do it for me though. I always see them do it at the
lounge?
Yeah, and then it's like they hide what they're doing.
Put the head of the cigar just right up to it
Just do me a
and just
favor.
clamp down.
Before you start, it's rolling right now, but just double check that it's like on the way you want it.
Okay.
It's fine to me, but it would be a shame if you did this whole thing and it wasn't filming.
That's
Double check.
okay.
All right, have fun.
All right, thanks, honey.
Wait, you just did that. I still don't get it.
What do you
You
mean?
shove it in there?
No, not that side. The other side. The round side. Yeah.
It's not made for lefties. No. That's good. Start the video.
There you go.
Being dumb. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Look at that.
As authentic as it comes.
Yes. So what questions did you get peppered with?
We got, because everyone is always about like leads. So everyone's always like wants to know like the greatest marketing hack,
Because that will solve
know.
everything.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
They think it's just one thing away. Like, what is it? LSA or is it Google Ads? Is it just this, or like how does that work? Like, do you do yard signs? Or like what metrics should you be following like in your ads? Or like how much ad spend should you do if you want to scale to $50,000 a month? Like, what do you do? Like a lot of things, probably like 1,000 different things.
Yeah, that's true.
And so
That's most of the questions you get.
most of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because you said something the first time we met that I love to hear because I completely disagree. But you said, something about word of mouth. That it doesn't work? I think that's what you said.
I said word of mouth doesn't actually grow businesses. It stagnates them. I think year over year, it doesn't move the needle as much as it needs to be. So relying on just word of mouth, I don't think moves the needle enough for people to grow in the way that they want to. It should be one spoke in the marketing wheel, the whole strategy of marketing, the word of mouth play. And that's just by providing remarkable service and having the way people talk about you when you're not in the room,
Yeah.
That's all that really is. It comes from the service side. But I think that's probably what I said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I didn't hear it as like it's only one spoke because in a weird way, or not a weird way, but if somebody's asking like, how do I market, blah, 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 it's like that is like focus on getting one customer first. But there's so much that can be gained from one customer. Something we talk about constantly in my business is repeat. So we call them the 3 R's: repeat, referral, and review. Yeah. And well, I throw in reputation, but that's kind of the same as review.
Yeah.
And it's like those 3 things, repeats, referrals, and reputation, maybe they're not like the greatest like scaling arm of a business, but like when you talk about building a foundation, that to me kind of says everything because I have a buddy that owns a restaurant and he's opened like 3 or 4 and he every time he opens a restaurant, it just becomes super popular. And they don't advertise really. Mm. And I've talked to him about it before, and I'm pretty sure he stole the same, but he's like, we just put it on the plate. And so it's like what he focuses on is like, they literally just make good food.
Yeah.
And so what they put on the plate is their marketing. So they're putting the best product they can on the plate, so then people eat it and they tell their friends about it. Because a lot of times you don't go to restaurants because you saw an Applebee's commercial. You go because your friend said you got to check this place out.
That's true.
And then it can be the same in home services because, like, as you've seen, it's like I've hired people in home services, and so often they suck. Like guys, like they don't show up on time, or they don't do the work they say they're gonna do, and like they drag ass. Like it can be a slug for people when they hire HVAC, junk removal, any kind of carpentry work. Like it feels like it's a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
So anytime someone does provide really good service, a lot of times it's like, you're going to tell people. Because like I always, and again, this is something I tell my people is like, be the guy, like be the guy, because, and I say it, so everybody wants to know a guy.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be the guy.
I have a similar phrase where it's like, people talk about wanting to do some sort of like referral type system where they provide kickbacks, and they're typically talking to like property management guys or realtors, and they're like, what if I gave like a referral incentive, and I gave them $50 for every person? And I'm like, that doesn't work. They don't want that.
They don't give a shit.
They don't care about the $50. They just want to know that who they're referring, it's the guy. They want to have a guy. Everyone wants a guy. So they just want to know that if they worked with you, and now if they refer you to somebody else, that you're going to take as good of care as them and make them look good. That's their
heart.
That's
their
exactly.
reputation.
Yes.
Yeah. So they want to know a guy.
Yeah. You become a part of their reputation, and you are their guy. They don't care about the referral. They just want you to now show up on time, do a good job. If you mess something up, you're there and you fix it, or all that kind of stuff. So
I have a story that would piss people off that ask that question about marketing, because it's not an easy fix. But I told it at our yearly meeting this year. The year's 2009, 2010, something like that. Long time ago. You were still in diapers, although we're the same age.
Yeah, I know. So many people watching probably weren't even born yet.
So it's 2010. And as you remember, it's like Google wasn't like a powerhouse in home services. Like people still use the yellow pages.
Yes.
It was
I started
hard.
my business in 2014. What year did you start yours in?
2008, 2009-ish area,
Okay, so
something like that.
it was right around when you first got started. Okay.
Yeah, I was
Housing
like dabbling in
crisis,
other things.
So right after the housing crisis? Or what is it, the financial collapse?
Yeah, kind of in the middle of it, right? So
in the middle of
yeah,
that?
that's how I do remember working. I was doing other things, so I was like dabbling in these different things at times.
Did that help push you into it, or was this just kind of
No,
like...
I just happened to be, it almost pushed me out.
Well, yeah, because I would think that
Yeah.
was because COVID was a different crisis. I feel people were really losing their shirts in 2008, 2009. So
Yeah,
I don't
wasn't
think there was a
until-
boom in like renovations and things of that nature because people were literally losing their houses to.
Yeah,
So I
and
think it was a
everybody was
completely-
so tight with the wallet. I mean, it wasn't until like 2013, 2014 that it felt like people were recovering. So I actually feel like I was really blessed because I started my business around that time and had to learn. It was like the school of hard knocks. Like I had to learn, because I hear people complain now. It's like, well, it's not as good as blah blah blah. And it's like, this is kind of like right now, it's more expensive to get customers than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
The industry of junk removal is more saturated than it used to be. So it's harder to run a business, and it's like, that's a good thing if you run a good business, because it's going to push all the wannabes out. And so these periods of tightening are good for well-run businesses, because it'll push everyone else. If everything's good, everyone stays in it. But anyways, back to that time, it's 2009, 2010-ish, somewhere around that. And at this time, I was strictly yard signs. That's all I was doing. But I was just a kid on a truck. I didn't have a team. I didn't really have much of anything. And I used to go out at night, and I would dumpster dive at a sign location. So they places that would make signs for like real estate companies. And I would take the signs. I'd take like their defects out of the dumpster.
Yeah.
And I would spray paint like whatever they had on there. I'd just spray paint it black, and I'd flip it over to the white side, and I'd cut them in half, and I'd write junk removal and 770-369-0305, and I just write it on there. And then I would take these stakes from I would my dad was a contractor, and so they would have all this spare wood on the job site, and I would always go over there with his table saw, and I would just run all the scrap wood through the table saw and get these little like 1-bys, and then I'd cut them and I'd make little angles, and I'd just take. So pretty much the only money I was spending was on the
nails.
Yeah, but they were like roofing nails, so they had like these big, like square red dot on it, and I would just nail them all together. And I would do hundreds at a time. But anyway, so that's what I would do. And then at night, I would just litter my town with these things. And they almost never worked. Because, like, who calls that number? But I did get a call.
And not only that, did the town ever come after you?
Not back then.
No.
Or probably, who knows?
Yeah.
I wasn't paying any attention.
That's how I never
I didn't have an address or a bit. Like, if
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't have an address. I didn't put my business name on it. And if you called me threatening my cell phone, I probably would just hung up on you. So I don't know. Maybe they were coming after me because I was littering.
Because I know some towns are really, really strict with that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really try to get out there and cite these companies. And
yeah. Since then, like, there's been certain places that, like Franklin, Tennessee is one of our locations. We can't put a sign. If we even think about putting out a sign, they'll send you a citation.
Yeah.
And those are the prettiest places. But so there was one sign I put out, and I still remember because it was the intersection in Marietta of Johnson's Ferry Road and Little Willio. And it was like 2 days later, I'm sitting in my apartment, probably bored, not doing anything because I didn't have a whole lot of work at the time. And my phone rang. There's this little old lady, her name was Ruth. And she calls me and she says, "Hey, I saw the sign. I'm looking to get rid of a grill." Again, you got to remember the time where I was. I tell her, "I can do it for $35 and I can be there in 15 minutes. So she's like, "Cool." And I ran out. I jump in my truck because I'm like, I got something to do.
Yeah,
exactly. I got my 1987 Chevy Silverado and I backed into my trailer. I hooked it up and I just hightailed it out of there. And I get there and she's this nice old lady, but she's also a little bit like, what is this? Because I was just a kid. Like, I was wearing like holey jeans and a white t-shirt, and I used to have like long hair. I was a mess. Like, I was a good kid, but like I was a bit of like, I didn't look professional at all. But I think I acted because I cared about things. I acted in a professional manner.
You're polite.
Yeah. But anyway, she lets me take the grill, and then I'm kind of chatting it up with her in her driveway afterwards. And I asked the most important question I had yet to. It was one of the best lessons I ever learned. And I asked her in that moment, I was like, "Is there anything else I can do for you while I'm here?" And like, it's a very simple question, but like, I think we forget to ask that at times. And I was like, "Is there anything else I can do to help you while I'm here?" And she was like, "No, I just have to put this old grill, I'm putting my new grill together, and then my project's done." Mm-hmm. And I look over, and she had pointed to a box, and it was a grill. And I was like, "I'll put it together for you." And she was like, "No, I'm good. Like, I already paid you this whopping $35. And I kind of insisted. I was like, "No, like, let me help. I can help you out." And then I just
nowhere else to be.
I didn't have nowhere else to be. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this little extra work for this lady, and like, I was grateful for the work at the time because too, I was like, dude, I'm gonna get $3.50 when I recycle this thing. So I actually made more than $35. And I take it took me 20 minutes probably, and just talking with her, and I put this entire thing together, and I wheeled it back to her backyard, and then I took the trash and I threw it in the trailer, and she was like, "What do I owe you?" And I was like, "Oh, nothing. Like, I was just helping."
Yeah.
And it was truly like I was just helping, and that is why I named sidebars. Like, that's why I named my business Stand Up Guys, is because like I did always believe that it's like be a stand up guy. Like, take care of people. It's not always about money. Like, do try and help people.
For sure.
And that has helped me a lot in my life.
You're doing the community a service, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you really are helping people. And I try to press upon that with all my guys, where the amount of goodwill that you can put out there will always come back. You know, because in life you get what you give, and the more you can give, you know, the more likely it is to come back around. And so we're always, hopefully they still do this, because I'm not on the day-to-day anymore, because my company's in Connecticut and I'm in Tampa now. But when I speak to my ops guy, and you know, he tells me, you know, even when we're doing dumpsters and we see the customer there, we're always interacting with them and asking them those types of questions. Even for like the dumpster, if they want, we always carry wood boards with us if they want the door open. Like we take those extra steps. We show them how to work the thing. But then even if it's like an older woman, I remember when we were doing a junk job back when I was in the business more, and I was there on site, and I saw that she had like a light bulb out and things of that nature. And I just asked her, it was an older woman, like, you want me to change that light for you?
Yeah.
You know, need you getting on a ladder.
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, oh yeah, for sure. And like, and just that, like,
That
just
makes a big
just
difference.
changing a light bulb.
Yeah.
But to her, it was a really big deal. Like, you know, as old as she was, getting on a ladder, I mean, she could, I don't know if she could kill herself, but she can get really hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
And so keeping her off the ladder, she don't have to worry about it. And now she can see again.
Exactly. There you go.
You know what I mean?
And it's doing that little extra.
It really is. And
Yeah.
it goes so far. And I think a lot of guys that are trying to build their business are just, they're so fixated on the next job and where's the next job come from? How do I get, like, it's that fast cash mentality.
But it's also a fear. There is an irrational fear that a lot of these guys have when they first start, and I think it's any home service. They are terrified to waste their own time. So it's like, I don't want to go out and like, maybe I want to price this job over the phone before I get there, because like, what if I show up and they don't like the price?
Yeah.
So it's like, there's like what if, so like you're almost adding friction to customers. You're doing all these things to like, in all this fear of wasting your own time, which in like in reality is like, sometimes you will waste time. But in that story I was saying, I guess you could look at it as like, I wasted 20, 30 minutes putting this thing together. But the rest of the story goes is like, the next day I get a phone call, and it's a lady that lives 2 doors down. And she's like, I got your number from Ruth down the street. I got to get rid of some junk. Again, I'm sitting in my apartment with nothing to do. I'll be there in 15 minutes.
Yeah. I
I show up this time, I pull up to the garage, it's a full load.
No kidding.
Right? And so I get a full load price out of it, and I'm just like, man, like that really worked out. Like I'm glad Ruth said something about me. And then, you know, and then I'm thinking like, the bells are going off a little bit where I'm like, okay, I see, and I ask her, like, is there anything else I can do while I'm here? She's like, no, I don't have anything. I was like, you sure? And she's like, no, I don't have anything.
Want me to look around?
And I said, and I was like, then I realized, like, well, you live 2-3 doors down from Ruth. I was like, do you know of anybody else around here that might need my services? Again, another question I learned that was really important. And like, thank God, she goes, actually, my neighbor. And she points across the street. She's like, I heard him talking about wanting to get rid of a basketball goal. I was like, say less. I walk right across the street, knock on the door. Hey, Beth or whatever across the street said you're looking to get rid of a basketball goal. He's like, yeah, $50. I throw it in my truck. It's like, I'm cooking. Like, so to me, then it was like 2 days later, I get a call from another guy, and it was Ruth. And then it was like, all of a sudden, and then I remember that guy hooked me up with the HOA for that little area. Then I did a job for the HOA at the pool, and then like back and forth. All of a sudden, it's like this entire web in this one little area. This entire web kept me busy for months. I was doing all kinds of work around there, and I spent 80 cents on roofing nails to put the sign out, and then 20 extra minutes on this lady. And it's like, that was the beginning. Like, that was when the light bulbs really started to go off for me in business-wise, because I was building a local foundation for my business. And that little momentum, I started, like, I bought uniforms. I hired a guy and was kind of like working them full-time. And I built a website. Like, I started to do things that make it look kind of like a business. But like, everything catapulted from that little foundation. In that area, it's like where I was from, it's the zip codes are 30062 and 30066. I think Little Willie O Road was in 66. But to this day, that was 16 years ago. To this day, every year, those 2 zip codes are my highest grossing zip codes in my entire business. And we service hundreds of zip codes.
Yeah.
And to this day, those are still the highest grossing zip codes I have every single year, bar none. It's never, and it's, I truly think it was because I built a foundation, and then we just kept building on that foundation. So my advertising dollars go a lot further too, because you can pay for Google and you can do all these things, and like, you have to keep up. But if if I go onto Google and I type in, I'm just going to use my business for an example. If I type in junk removal, a bunch of stuff pops up, right? Paid ads, everything. But if one of the paid ads, I recognize it and I'm like, oh, I've seen those guys before, or I've heard about that before, I just skip right to that one.
Yeah.
There's like a brand, like, and that's part of like that reputation that I was talking about. And like, that's all to me is built off of the customer base and like the actual, like what you put on the plate, like your service that you provide. Because like what we put on the plate at Stand Up Guys, what we put on the plate is our service. It's like from like the how you answer the phone when they call in, you know, how you deal with them leading up to the appointment, how you show up to their house, how you talk to them when you're in there, how you work when you're there, and you know the extra things that you do. Like, do you pull up the, like if I pull up to a house, or I tell the guys, if you pull up to a house and there's an empty trash can at the bottom of the street, just drag it up. Those little things can go this long way. And so it's like that little bit of reputation could then make your dollars go farther because people are just clicking on you because they recognize you. But that's also branding, a lot of other things.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people then ask, especially in the startup phase, with the whole they put it on the plate. You know, that's what they. But I think then you would take it a step back and say, but how would anyone even get to experience what you put on the plate? You know,
Like I said, I put out a road sign.
You know, but that would be, that's one of those questions, especially like for the restaurant. So he already had a following, so people already knew of him. So he had that in his area with his other restaurants. He opened up another restaurant, but how did people know about his restaurant? How did people know to come in and experience? I think
on the first go.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And then obviously you wow them with the food on the plate. You wow them with your service, and so. You know, what I do with Google Ads is my main form of customer acquisition. It always has been. But my repeat referral rate is pretty high. It's about 60% of the business. And so, yes, we pay for a lot. We also get a lot of organic because we've been in our Connecticut for 12 years. So we have good presence there, so people know us. But still, the main form is still through Google Ads. But it's what you do after the service. So even though it costs money to win that client, what you do providing that service to keep them in and then to keep them talking about you. It's just, how do you get people in to experience what you have in order to then make that snowball, you know, roll down the hill and grow bigger and bigger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
I'm with you. Yeah.
So how do you get those people in the seat to experience the food? At first, I know you say like the road sign and things of that nature, but I think that would be a question. It's like, but how do I even get people to experience it?
But I think that question is answered. Like you answered it yourself. It's like, you can do Google Ads. You can do Yelp. You can do Nextdoor. You can do Google Ads. You can do Facebook. There's a plentiful amount of ways to find that first customer. And I'm not saying like, oh, you should just find one customer and build your whole business. But I do think we often focus too much on how to get the next customer, and we're not focusing enough on the customer we do have.
Correct.
Because if you get one or two customers and you can wow them, but also like, what's your follow-up game like?
Yeah.
Like, how are you reaching back out to them? I have the benefit of years of doing this, so I have tens and tens and tens of thousands of customers in our database, and it's like, those are all leads. And I can, if things are ever slowing down or you need it, it's like you reach to the leads because you have those, right? And so if you pay for 10 customers, you have 10 opportunities to turn them into to free marketing. I would have these T-shirts. This is early 2000, like the teens, 13, 14. Shirts were cheaper than they are now to get, but I would get these stand-up guys shirts and they said haulin' and ballin' on the back, and I would just give them to my customers. I would just constantly be giving it to them, and it's like, yeah, it was costing me $10 a customer, and that doesn't go that far when you're charging $35 for a grill, but I would see them. My business was not that big, but all of a sudden I'd be in Home Depot and it's like, there's somebody wearing my fucking shirt. And I would like, and I'm like, that's advertising and like that. But I do think it's the same thing everybody wants. They want a quick fix. They want a silver bullet. And it's like, I don't have that. And I think the unfortunate thing is like, it doesn't really exist. So stop looking for it.
Right.
So instead just like worry about the foundation, and then like things really will build from that. Because if you do think about it as like, I'm running a restaurant, Yes, I can put ads on the Super Bowl, or I could spend my money on getting a really nice sign outside or whatever, but it's like, what if you really put your effort into what you're putting on the plate? Because yes, the first few people that walk through the door can be a slug, but if its food's really good, they're gonna do what everybody does. They tell their friends, because like, you gotta check this place out. It's the same with a movie, right? It's like, you see movies get advertised to death before they come out. And then after they come out, the advertisement stops. And that's what, at that point, you figure out, is this movie going to make it or not? And it's not based on the advertisement.
Right.
The opening weekend might, but after that, it's like, is it a good movie or not?
Right.
Are people going to come back and see it? And I'm not comparing what we do to Hollywood, but there is an effort of like, are you that guy? Are people going to tell you, are people going to tell their friends? And it's like, junk is a very unique thing.
Because it's commoditized.
But everybody has it. So anytime it'd be like, Susie.
But that's why people are so price sensitive too, and why it's hard when people, especially when it's tight. When now the competition is greater than ever, and it's not just from junk businesses, it's from all these other types of companies, handymen, painters, landscapers. Everyone wants to do junk to maximize the lifetime value of their current customers. They already won that customer. Now they're just throwing junk in it too, because they say, oh, look at this. Times are a little hard, purse strings are tight.
Yeah.
I can now add that service. So it's just such a different market now. And so I just think it's right now, I think it's just very, very difficult. And I think a lot of people that are watching this so far, I think they're going to feel that it's just woo-woo stuff. Like just like,
Oh, that's what you don't want to hear that.
Get out and like just do your best, man. And like just just leave it up. Like as long as you do your best and you help that lady, like you're gonna be set. But it's a culmination of like so many different things. Like,
that's
definitely a big part of it.
But it's so big because we're no different than the AC company. When the AC company comes to your house, if they charge you for the AC unit and the fucking thing breaks in 2 days, you're never calling them again. So like the service that you actually provide does matter. And I'm not
big time. I'm not taking anything away from that.
But there's and two, it's like when people get like there's all kinds of ways to go. But it's like when you're selling and you're like anyone can get rid of whatever, but it's like we're really selling what we sell in this business is we're not selling a quarter of a truck. We're not selling decluttering. It's like you're selling space and you're selling peace of mind, right?
You're basically selling everything but the actual service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're selling to someone who's like, you don't have like your headaches are gone once you hire me. And I tell that to people, like that's how we train people on the phone here is like, you could call me and be like, well, this other company said this or this is this. And we always say the same thing. It's like, we're not always going to be the cheapest, but if you hire us and we put you on our schedule, your headaches are gone. We're going to show up when we say we're going to show up. You're going to get rid of everything. You're not going to have to deal with anything else because too, as the saying goes, nothing's more expensive than cheap labor. And like that goes that way with everything. It's like how many times I've gotten called numerous times where people are like, they hired somebody and the guys just didn't show up, or they call them. It's like their appointment's like 2 to 4, and they call them at 5 o'clock. And they're like, hey, we got to come tomorrow. And people are just like, screw you. I'm not going with these people. And like that's part of the service, right? It's like the whole thing is your service. And if you're small, it's like you got to focus on what you're good at when you're small, which is what I would do. When we were first getting started, it was speed. That's why I was like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. Yeah. It's like, I'm dropping everything. I'm gonna be there first. So it's like, look at
someone is holding out money.
Yes.
Go get it.
Yes. Don't be like,
don't delay it.
Ruth, what are the dimensions of the grill? Where is the grill located? Where
are there any stairs involved?
Are there any stairs involved? Should I bring someone else? Do you want me to back in your driveway?
Can you actually send me a photo first?
Don't even get me started.
Like
photos.
The friction. I mean, it's just you're creating so much friction with people. And honestly, I don't want to see a photo. People, it's obviously an option because people want to do it. They want a ballpark, and so you have to play with them to a certain degree. But we do give them a range, but we explain the service in that range, and that's just communicating.
Yes.
That's a communication skill. It has nothing to do with junk removal. It's just properly communicating with the customer, and what an important skill set to have when growing any business. It's really just customer communication.
I'll be like, yeah, send me the photo as I'm on the way to your house.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
But let me give you a guaranteed price in person. Like,
yes.
Let me see it, and then you're extending that conversation. You're building rapport with them. You're taking the first step into relationship. So now we're moving away from transaction when they're sending a photo and they just want a price. That's just like transactional. We want to move into a relationship where we're going into the house. Now they're seeing us face to face.
Yeah.
They're seeing the truck. They're seeing you. And even if the truck isn't nice, like in your case, it's really how you present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You showed up on time. You're presentable. Yeah. You're polite. You act like you care.
Yeah.
That is really what people want. And then you actually can do the job, and you do what you say, and you say what you do.
Yep.
And that's really what it matters.
And go and like apply your strengths. And that's what I was saying. When I was small, my best strength was speed. I was like, I can show up right away because I don't have anything else going on. Right. And like as my company's grown, some of our assets are like I never miss a phone call. We got a lot of people that work here, so it's like we apply our strengths. So it's like we're never gonna miss a phone call. I have all kinds, like we have a list of leads, so we're constantly pushing on them. We've gained some capital, so it's like I have the best branding I can possibly put out there, and it's like I have trucks that I love the way they look, and it's like they have big billboards on the side, so it's like I utilize that strength, and it's like I park those things everywhere so that people see it. So it's like if you're small, it's like your strength is speed and time, and it's like and if you're still an operator on the truck, it's like you should feel it's a blessing in the beginning to be an operator on the truck because you get to like create the foundation of your business, and it's like treat the customers right, and then as you grow, it's like that will already be woven into the fabric of the business.
And don't forget the customer.
Yes.
Like when you're building the business, like even if you don't have a CRM, with technology now, it's just crazy. Like even just from when I started 2014, and I couldn't even imagine when you started, like CRM. I didn't even know what the hell that was. I don't even know if there were really that many products out there like CRM. But now, I mean, it's just everywhere. You don't even need to have one. You can just make your own on one of these various Notion pages or Google Business Sheets or whatever. But just keep track. Like don't keep them in your phone like and through text message.
No.
Like keep track of all those customers and nurture them. Like follow up with them. And again, with the relationship stuff, stop being so transactional. Start to talk to them as like their friends. Like get into the relationship with them. Ask like how they're doing. Like, it's been so long. Thanks again. Like thank them continuously. Like when you follow up and try to bridge that gap. And I think that would go really well and would go a long way for a lot of these new guys that are just getting started.
And I do think you're right. I think they think it sounds like woo-woo.
Yeah. 100%.
But there is no one out there that's just like, oh, I figured out the formula. There's a lot of moving parts that go to it, and it's like you got good weeks, you got bad weeks, you got there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, growing any business, I mean, there are so many things, just on like just the cash management side and risk taking. It's just
and how lucky we are now to be like if I was starting a business right now, like you're talking about CRMs. And I'll go back again to when I started, for the first couple of years, it's almost laughable what I was doing, or it is laughable because my system, God, I feel so dumb even saying it. My system was somebody would call in and I'd always have a notepad with me and a pen. And anytime somebody would call in, I'd just like, I can be here. Like if they're like, well, I want you to come tomorrow, I'd write their address and their phone number down and their name, and I'd rip the paper off and I'd stick it in my wallet. And my entire thing was, if I have paper in my wallet, I have jobs to go do. And if I have no paper in my wallet, I have no jobs. And it's like, that was my literal CRM. And then I would take all the extra jobs and any job I would do, I would like put it in this folder, and then I would start to follow up with those customers later. But everything was like written on paper and then ripped off. So like my first couple of years, like I don't know how much money, I don't know, I didn't know anything that was going on, but I was also learning along the way. And it's like now there's a wealth of information out there. Yeah. There's all these different CRMs. There's gurus every corner you see. Like everyone is going to be like, this is how you make $40,000 a month, and like or whatever they say.
With your mother's minivan.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget that part.
But also, it's like don't get caught up in the revenue. Like revenue is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the bottom line. It's like, what are you driving to the bottom line? What do they say? Revenue for revenue for show and profit for dough or something like
I
that.
think that's a golf term: drive for show and putt for dough.
Yeah.
But it's revenue for vanity and profit for sanity. I think is what you were looking for.
Yeah.
And yeah, for sure. Because I was always like, my goal was like, I want to be $1 million a year business. There was really nothing more behind that thought process than just like, I think $1 million is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I want to make that. And like everything was just so focused on like, get to that $1 million mark. But like, what does that even mean? What does it even do for you? Like nothing changed. Like, is it a cool, like, goal?
It's important to have goals.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. But the focus shouldn't be driving top line. It should be driving bottom line. Because I would rather have a smaller business, but make more take home. I'd rather have a smaller company taking home more money than a bigger company. Like
with a smaller margin.
Yeah. Or even making the same money. To have a bigger company but make the same amount of money that I would with a smaller company. It's just so much easier to manage a smaller company. Like,
yeah, I've had guys come to me because like I did do some unorthodox things, right? It's like I grew a business and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna open up in other cities and other states, and didn't have much of a plan. Like I told you before, like I did wing a lot, and I've had people over the years come to me and they're like, hey, I really want to expand into other markets, and could you give me advice? And my first question would always be like, why do you want to do that?
yeah.
Because I never had a mentor, and no one ever asked, because if someone would have been like, why do you want to go to Florida? And like really asked me, I probably would have been like, I wouldn't have had a really good answer for it. And but I'm glad that, in a weird way, I'm glad that didn't happen, because like the road that I took, it's like, I don't want to live in regret. And it's like, I learned so much along the way, but I did cause myself a lot of headaches that weren't necessary. But I will say, and that's why I bring it all the way back to like that foundational aspect. I got focused for years on growth for a little while, and I got away from, there was times when I got away from that, like that simple fact of really where I came from, and it would really hurt my business.
Yeah.
And then to walk that back and have to rebuild foundations has been really hard. I've shut locations down because of it. And then I've rebuilt, and like, you know, there was a location 2 years ago that I had already had for like 5 years, and it had always been a good location. And then I kind of took my eye off the ball for a while, and it really deteriorated. And I went and I visited there, and I remember thinking, there's no profit coming out of this place. The trucks are falling apart. The management has just fallen off. It was in all sense, it was a shit show.
Well, what do you think happened? You took your eye off the ball, but what do you think actually happened? You just weren't paying enough attention to the location, or
I think that's exactly what it was, because
run on their own. And
I was worried. I got focused on the next location, like you're saying, like the next customer. It's the same thing, just on a different scale. I got focused about the next location, the next $1 million, like the next thing, and then I took my eye off the ball of what we had built, and I had to go to that location, and this is no joke, I fired everyone. I literally had to fire the entire crew, the management, and everything. And I remember how scared it was, because I was like, I can't shut this down. Like, this has been too good of a location. I'm not about to just take all these years and just throw them in the trash.
Yeah.
And then we hired a new guy, and a new crew came in, and it was like all I ever talked to him about in the early days was what I truly believe in my heart, which is what we put on the plate. I didn't talk about much, like, yes, there's systems, there's processes, there's this, there's that, but it's like the service comes first.
You basically got back down to basics of how you built a business.
And it's my most profitable location over the last 18 months.
Now, do you think does that have to do with the right person in the right role? Or do you think the people that were there previous, had you been involved at the same level, could have succeeded as well?
That's a good question. That situation's a little hard for me, because like the guy that I have happens to be an absolute rock star. Like he's the best, right? And it's like those unicorns come along every now and again. But to answer your question, I don't think I had the wrong person. I think I treated it the wrong way. I hear so often, and again, this is every field of people that talk to me, you know, I have I have friends in the restaurant business, insulation business. I know people in different businesses, and like you hear a lot of similarities where you hear similarities to successful businesses and then ones that can't seem to get out of their own way. The ones that are successful, they talk about they're lucky for the good people they have. They're lucky for the customers they have. You know, the market's been good for them. They get lucky, right? But then the ones that struggle, I hear the same thing all the time, and it's like, you can't find good help. Guys are an idiot. Like, it's really hard to hire. You can't find good help. Customers are cheap now. And it's like, the can't find good help thing, I've gotten stuck in that whirlwind before, like thinking that. But in reality, it's not true. There is like, it comes down to you. And I think you can mold most people, or most people want to do good, right? They want to be good at what they're doing. If I have someone that comes in, they're like, I want to be a manager. I want to manage a location. Just that want alone is enough, in my opinion, to make a good manager and a good leader. I know that seems pretty basic, but like for the most, like it comes down to me at that point.
Do you think that the people that can be put in those positions are often searching for services like ours? I think that is a big thing as well, because I've dealt with struggles with employees for as long as I've started, and a lot of it goes to being able to provide consistent work and being able to pay them competitively enough, especially early on. We don't have that issue anymore, and provide like benefits. Everyone's after benefits now. Healthcare is like the biggest sticking point, and is the biggest reason why people leave my company. It's always healthcare, and I don't provide that because it's so expensive.
Yes, it is.
It's so expensive to have that as a company benefit to them, and I often think back to, well, maybe I should just spend the extra money and not lose some of these good guys when they do come around, who end up leaving me for a few more dollars plus the healthcare benefit. But I've looked into that a few times, and it's just every single time it lands on my desk, I'm always just like, holy crap! Like this is just,
it's expensive.
This is do you have health insurance for your company? Yeah.
We kind of reached a point though, we have to, right?
So tell me about that. Like, when did you get to that point? Like, where was that point of like, we have to do it?
Well, no, like our employee level. We have to do it. But I will say I did do it prior to some of the. I've had health insurance for a long time, but I didn't always offer it to everyone, because for me, there's certain people, like you're saying, there's certain people it benefits, and there's certain. I got a lot of kids that are like 22, 23 years old. Like they don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not even like, that's like not even a selling point to them. But then I have employees that have families and kids and all that, so like that is important to them. And yes, it can be a financial burden, but like you're saying, it's like, what's the financial burden of losing a good employee?
Right.
It's a
two
balance
sides
to it. Yeah. But I mean, back to like people being in the right roles, there sometimes you can't stick a square peg in a round hole. But I think it's the job of the leader to really define the direction,
and play to the strengths of people.
Exactly. But if you don't lay out clear directive, they'll float, and then there becomes a lot of expectations, and expectations are bullshit if you don't express them. So then what can happen, and I've been victim to it too.
You need to explain what's a good job.
Exactly. This is
what in your role qualifies as doing well.
And that's what I always preach, is that yes, there's outliers, but for the most part, in my experience and all these years doing it, I'm hiring guys that are hauling junk. And that's not easy to do, right? It's not pretty, it's not whatever, but I have seen it over and over and over and over and over again. Guys have a lot of pride, or people have a lot of pride when they're good at what they do. And it's our job, if you are a business owner, a manager, a leader of any kind, it is your job to set the expectation of what is good and what is not. What amount of revenue in a day is a good job? What type of, revenue per hour is good? Or like, what type of service do we provide that's good? What type of margin do I need to have to be good? Like, what are the expectations to be good? And when you clearly set those expectations,
how
people
do I
meet them.
accomplish it too?
But people, yes, how do I meet them? But people, if you set expectations, you set standards, it's human nature. So often people will meet your expectations because you've set them clearly. And then that's when all the beauty really happens, because, man, work takes up a lot of your life. And it takes up a lot of my life. It takes up a lot of a guy on a truck. It's 7-9 hours a day. It takes up a lot. The difference you can make in someone's life when you can set clear expectations and they do a good job, they hold their head a little higher. They feel a little bit better about themselves because they're doing a good job. And when you feel better about yourself in the 7 to 9 hours you're working at a job, you hold your head up and your shoulders back a little bit. You feel a little bit better about yourself, and then you go home and you feel better about yourself. Mm-hmm. And then let's say you have a girlfriend and she starts to, like, your relationship gets better with her because you're happier and like you are being, like, you have more confidence, and then the compounding interest of that, then all of a sudden your home life gets better, and then before you know it, that girlfriend becomes your wife, and then like all these things can happen based on somebody feeling better about themselves. And so often it's as simple as, I'm good at my job, even if it's hauling junk. Like it can be that, and you can have that type of impact on somebody. But then to take it back, it's like when they're good at that, all of a sudden they're like, what's the next step? I'm good at this. What else can I do? Yeah. And then they want to grow with you, right? And that's the thing that I'm most proud of in my business. So often we have moved people through the business. Like, someone starts as a hauler, before you know it, they're running a location. And then also it's like, I have a lot of guys that have come, they've worked here for a few years, and they go off and they do other things and they become really successful. And like, those things I love to see, because do I expect everyone that comes to work for me just to be a lifer? No, but like, in the time that you're here, if like I can make you the best you can be and do the best for this business, and make maybe things a little bit better for you, it's like what that can do for me and what that can do for you for the rest of your life. But the inverse of that is, people are kind of just like, this guy comes, you have expectations of what he should be doing, but you don't really set it clearly, and then all of a sudden he's not meeting these expectations that you've never said, and then in your mind he's like, he's just a dipshit and he's not getting things done, and it's like things are slow, or he's slow, and he's just here to get hours, and like he doesn't even care. And it's like, well, of course he doesn't care as much as you do, but you've also not given him a reason to care, because just being the boss, like I said, you can set the expectation, you can help him meet the expectation, and then you can be the guy that gives him the attaboy. Because just an attaboy, just the reward of like, hey man, you're killing it, that goes a long way with people. Just putting your hand on someone's shoulder and being like, I'm really proud of you, man. Like, you are absolutely killing it. All of a sudden they're just like, yeah, I'm killing it.
Assuming someone knows what to do is such a mistake. To have them come in and, like you said, like, treat them as they're just punching a clock. They're just dragging out the day, and you assume that, like, well, obviously you should know what's good for the business. Obviously you should know not to do that. Obviously you should, but it's not obvious.
It's not obvious. Like I just said, when I started my business, I had no idea what I was doing.
Nothing is obvious.
Yeah, nothing is obvious at all. And that's, I mean, I think it's as clear as that. But then so often the same guy that keeps saying like, there's no good help. It's like, you can't find good help. And everybody that walks through the door is a dumbass. So what are they doing? They're meeting the expectation that you're giving them, which is they're a dumbass. So what are they doing? They're meeting that expectation, and they kind of are a dumbass. So then it's like, you're right. Whether you want, like you're right either way. If you think they're going to be a rock star and you treat them like a rock star, you think they're a dipshit and they're going to be like, either way, you're going to be right.
I got a question for you. When on that comment you were saying revenue per truck per day and things of that nature, I've thought of that model back in the day, but I've let that go because I assumed the role of revenue driver, because how can my guys in the truck make more money?
My guys sell.
So talk to me about that.
So most of my business is estimate on site. So it is on my guys that are showing up and women, it is on them to sell it. So you have to teach the right way to sell, you have to teach the right way to price, and then you have to incentivize that, because like my sales come from on-site. Some come from, we have contracts with commercial clients and things where the price is kind of set, but 60% of my business is quoted on-site. And there's that fine balance of like, you don't want people to get overcharged, but you also don't want them to get gouged. Like, you're not trying to get gouged yourself, because if you just kind of let it go and you let them float, they're going to take the path of least resistance. And you know what the path of least resistance is? That's $50.
Not fighting for it.
I'm not going to fight with this. I'm just going to tell them whatever they want to hear so I can get the job done and move on to the next. So it's like, you have to teach these certain things, and it's like, here's what the expectation is. Like, here's the tools to kind of get you there. And we have all kinds of tools set up to where it's like, if you have kickback and you need help, like, use this. Like, there's different things that go to it. But yeah, with my business, the guys on site do drive sales.
But through you creating opportunity,
yes,
they're not creating opportunity. So I think a lot of people who don't have full schedules themselves or for other people, they wouldn't be able to utilize that same function, because some days they only have 2 jobs maybe, and some days they have no jobs. Some days maybe they have 3 jobs. But isn't it would be the responsibility of the owner to drive those opportunities before you can then have that as like a metric that you use with your teams, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason, so I use that as a metric for incentives. A truck can go out and make $5,000 in a day, or a truck can go out and make $500. Sometimes it is the job. But
right, that's true too.
Yeah. So, I've seen companies that do, like, they incentivize just like revenue per hour, because like, look, I don't know how many jobs you have, but
That's what I use.
Yeah, it's a good one too.
I do revenue per driver per hour.
The one thing I did
dumpsters.
learn, and because I tried many different, I used to have like this point system where it's like, if you do this and you do this and you do this, if you get this, it's like, then you get a bonus on this and you get this. And I actually read this book called the 4DX, is a 4 laws of execution, or 4 disciplines of execution, I think is what it stands for, something like that. And it talks in the book about how when you set up incentives, they have to be simple to understand.
Yeah.
Or people just kind of...
Yeah, there can't be any gray area.
So I just, I looked at a bunch of different things. So I used to do it off of like daily profit. So it's like they're doing this calculation, and like, yes, it would work at times, and other times, and then I was seeing some guys were just kind of like, did I make a bonus today? Like, they're literally looking like, did I? And then when I got to a simple metric of like, make this amount, get X. Make this amount, get Y.
Yeah.
Make this amount, get Z. Like, when I made it that simple, then I gave them a simple target to go after. Yes, at times it can be like, I got burned because maybe they really sell a job and it's all stone and it costs me more. Like, but it's so rare that happens, because that's when it comes down to like, you gotta have good management, right? So it's like, don't let them burn you. But I have guys that go out and it's like, and it has worked in a lot of scenarios, because I'll have a guy who's out. It's like 5:30 in the afternoon. You call them and you're like, "Hey, we got another job added." They're not like, they're like, "Awesome, man! I'm $100 from hitting the final tier of my bonus. Like, if you can add more, I'll go do it." Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that was, and so sometimes it works. I'm not going to act like, "Oh, this is bulletproof and it works all the time." So yeah, that I set it. I tried to make as simple of target as possible. And it's like, and I do it by the day. So then I used to do it by the week, and then it's like, dude, these, like, the more for me, because I've been in every role. I've been the driver on a truck. I've been the hauler on a truck. I've been the salesman for my company. I've been the one person answering the phone. I've been the person that did the Google ads. I've been the SEO person. I've been the accountant one too many times. I've put together the P&Ls. I've managed locations. I've managed multiple locations. Like, I've done everything in my business. And so I've learned through that of kind of how people see things. And when you're on a truck, it's really hard to not just see the day through that windshield.
Of course.
You're seeing the jobs day to day. You're not even thinking about tomorrow.
You're barely even thinking about the next job.
Yeah, I would like incentivize guys like based on the day. It's like, just get through today and hit this metric, and tomorrow it starts over and you have another chance.
Yeah.
You don't, because like I used to do it by the week, and we'd have these different metrics, and if Wednesday came and it was like, dude, they're nowhere close, they'd start loafing the rest of the week.
Yeah,
right? So it's like, I'm giving them a fresh start every day, go out and have an opportunity.
That's cool. So let me ask you now, it sounds like it's open book theory that you have, or strategy, open book strategy. So your financials and everything are open for everyone to see, like, because some companies do that, where because like the incentivization of work and knowing what they can do to move the needle to improve the business and understanding the financials of the company. So are you at that level?
So
where are you at with?
So like with my management team, it's an open financials. They can see everything. We go through everything together. Every location has its own P&L. We go line by line through it, and we try to run the business the best we can. The guys on the truck, they really are worried about that one metric.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, because they can't really control fuel, right? So it's like, I don't worry about that. They can control time, but a lot of that is like, I put that on management. For me, it's like, have a span of control over what your guys are doing, and kind of put them in the right places, and help them when it's like, hey, if you have a full load, bring it here, don't bring it here.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys have been sitting on the clock, maybe bring this guy in, go work over here. Like, you have to work. If you just let them float, it's like, yeah, labor will run high, disposal will go high, because they'll just go to the dump every time they have a quarter of a load. Like, there's all these little things, so it's like, you have to manage it. There's a span of control, or like we call it controlled movement. So it's like, you don't want to be hovering over their shoulder, but you need to kind of be there to direct them and help them throughout the day.
Yeah.
And like, when you have that controlled movement, it can control the expenses. Let them control the sales, give them the opportunity to push sales, and then you control the movement, which controls the profit.
Mm-hmm. So my business is mainly dumpster rentals. So we just have drivers that just go out. So controlling the movement, we control routes.
Yeah.
And we have people who monitor the drivers, and it's not because we don't trust them, but just because we can help them.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of same days that come in, a lot of subtractions and additions, and then we figure out what makes most sense on routes. So the routes are constantly evolving, and like, the guys would never be able to do that on the road, because I remember driving myself. I could not really think too far past what the next stop, or maybe two stops, was. I would optimize the route at the beginning of the day, because the jobs were coming in and things were kind of fluctuating up until I was getting in the truck. This is when I just had one dumpster truck, and I was actually the one that was doing the dumpsters.
Yeah.
And so I have that perspective of knowing really what it's like being behind the wheel, and not being able to communicate properly with new jobs coming in, and having to worry about where that falls in the route, and optimizing. A lot of times you're just kind of like haphazardly just trying to get the jobs
done.
Go
to wherever's closest.
Yeah, just like trying to just figure it out, and then you would look back, if you ever did like Monday morning, analyzation, like from football, you play on Sunday, and then you look back, like, what the hell happened? And you really try to understand. I do that a lot with everything. Like, what the hell went wrong? Like, why do I feel like this? Like,
why am I so stressed out?
Like, what happened? And that's really important to analyze, like what's actually happening, because the day will just take over, and you'll just do things, and then you'll get home and just be like, holy crap, go to bed, and you just do it all over again.
Yeah, you're just reacting.
Yeah. Instead of so understanding that, and then having people, like, as a job, it's a part of their job. I have two administrative people to look over all these people on their routes and just help them. Just find the right dump. Like, there's dumps all over Connecticut, and it doesn't always make sense to just go to this one or go to that one. Depends on where you're going next, and a few different factors. And you don't really want to leave that up to just one person. You want to control the movement, like you said. I think that's brilliant. Yeah. Because
if you put too much, a big thing that I've tried to do, and sometimes it's caused overemployment. It causes bloat. But when you get it just right, it works really well. But I try very hard to keep everybody in their lane.
Yeah.
I've had a habit in the past of kind of like, I treat everybody like a Swiss Army knife, and sometimes it works, but so often it'll wind up biting you in the ass.
I think it's okay at certain
scales.
stages.
Yes. Yeah.
To really put people out there and really stretch them and make them uncomfortable, and then figure out where they excel. And can you play to that?
Yes.
That's like one of the things that I always try to do, is figure out, like, what are you really good at? Because I've definitely in the growth stage have put one person who was a great driver, I thought he could be a great administrative person, or I thought he could be a great salesman to go make relationships and network. But it just doesn't really, like, he's really good at driving.
Yeah.
And he does a great job, and he actually likes doing that.
So let him do his, let him stay right there.
Yeah. It's like I'm taking him out of the role, and now I'm making his job harder for him.
Yeah.
But I was giving him more opportunity. Just probably let this plane pass.
You're right by the base. This is a good place to be.
This is a great neighborhood. We didn't even know that the Air Force Base was that close when we moved on base.
It's literally right there.
We had no idea because we were in the time that we were moving with these hopping to Airbnbs. We literally had no clue, and we bought the house, and then we found out after. We saw like all this traffic. We're like, "What's all this traffic for?" And people were like, "Oh, it's people going to the Air Force." Like
half of Tampa is right there.
There's an Air Force Base down there. It's the flyovers and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. It's like a part of the culture. But so taking him out of the role, I thought I was doing him a service, providing him more opportunity, giving him a pay raise, giving him more responsibility, doing those things. But he didn't do well.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, what are you actually really good at? It's like, and what do you like doing? So
And
just
putting them in the right place. I mean,
just do it.
Yeah.
And just leave them alone.
That's
and
your
just,
job.
Yeah.
Right. It's your job to put the people in the
And then just
where they'll excel.
You got to find somebody else to just.
And
fill
what
those
and like
spots.
to the Swiss Army knives comment, like that's where what I've tried. My goal with everyone that comes in my business is for me to give them the most narrow focus I can give them, where it's like this. It says like when you focus on one thing, you can really excel at it. When I give you 2 tasks, all of a sudden now it's one's getting 70%, one's getting 30%. If I give you 3 tasks, now it's like you're really splitting your time. So it's like I want, like that's what I was saying with my crew leaders, is like I want them to focus on the customer. Just like focus on the service, focus on the sale, just be on the truck. And then like with managers, it's like my managers don't answer the phone. Like they don't answer incoming calls. Like I just want them to focus on controlled movement. Like just focus on making sure these trucks get the jobs done, make sure these guys have what they like, everything they need, narrow focus. And then the people on the phones, it's like I don't want, like I used to have people on the phone and be like, you do this, and then when the phone's not ringing, do this, and when the phone's not ringing, do this. And then before you know it, it's like, well, I didn't answer the phone because I was doing this, but like when it's just answer the phone, you'd be amazed at how good they actually get at it. And then all of a sudden our booking rate's like 95%. And then I've hired salesmen, right? And it's like when I just let them, it's like, don't worry about account management. Don't worry about like helping me over here when I need it. Cause I've had salesmen where I'm like, hey, dude, I need help on the truck. Will you go hop on the truck? It's like, what a terrible idea. So now it's like, no, you're a salesman. I want you to sell. Just pick up the phone and sell. Like just stay in your lane.
It feels productive though. In that moment, right?
When they're productive.
But no, when you're trying to pull them off, because you see there's money there, and now you're jumping back.
In your
into
mind,
business.
like, I'm already paying for them. So if I do them over here, it's like, this is free labor. And it's like, you're hiring them to sell, and now you got a salesman doing something else. Yeah, so it's like, keep everybody in their lane. And like when people stay in their lane and they're succeeding there, then all of a sudden all these funnels are firing at all cylinders, and you can really have some movement that way.
I think there could be a lesson there as well from people who aren't at that stage yet, who either don't have the volume to fill those types of positions, or they're just not, they're just at a much smaller stage. But I think there's a lesson there of prioritization and figuring out what are the most important things that you have to do today, or in a case of when multiple priorities are popping up at one time, well, which one actually takes precedence over the other? So understanding, having clarity on what is actually priority and then what isn't, and then attacking those things, and then not diverting attention either. Like, do priority number 1 only. Complete priority number 1.
Yeah. Once it's done,
move
then
to
move
priority
on.
number 2.
Yeah.
And it really is that rich. Like, it really is. It's that simple.
It is, but like you're saying, you have to be able to prioritize it, because the term low-hanging fruit will get in your way.
Yeah.
If I give you 5 problems, it is human nature. You're going to tick off the easiest ones first.
Well, because
but
it
as soon as
feels
you
good.
tick off that, yes, it feels good. But as soon as you tick off that easy problem, another low-hanging fruit will drop.
Yeah.
There's always going to be low-hanging fruit. So you can spend an entire day, an entire week, an entire month putting out fires all day long. And then you'll turn around and be like, I didn't do anything.
Well, and because the high priority stuff typically doesn't feel urgent.
It's not urgent. Yeah, you've seen there's a the 4 quadrants. It's like I'm gonna screw it up, but
I know what
there's
you're talking about.
there's
I can't remember what it
unimportant,
is.
urgent,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
there's important, not urgents on the far other one. And so it's like, where does it line? Because you have urgent, not important. You have urgent, very important. You have not urgent, very important. Then you have not urgent, not important, and that seems to take our time.
Yeah.
It's not really that urgent, but it's not really that important, but it's the easiest. So human nature is to tick off what's easiest, and then what gets ignored the most is quadrant 4, which is not urgent but important, which is like, I gotta write some standard operating procedures. Like, that's boring.
Which is always like the growth drivers.
Yes, yeah.
Because and growth is long term. Always.
Or training. Training's a big one. To train anyone to like really focus on training that person on whatever task they need to do doesn't always feel urgent, because it's like, I'll get to that. But it's so important, because then it's gonna take away from all the other mistakes that'll happen if you don't just focus on that right away. Because we're all victim to it. It's like a new person comes in and you're kind of like, hey, this is your job. I'll get to you later, but I need you to just go out and figure it out. And before you know it, they're just screwing stuff up. And then what do you say? You're like, this guy's an idiot.
Right.
This guy's not doing anything right.
One of the biggest mistakes I had coming up, it was not taking the time to professionalize internally. It was just grow. My sole focus was just on creating and growing, and I had all sorts of different services. We started in junk, but I quickly added moving. I quickly added landscaping, light landscaping, I called it, because we didn't do like full like custom builds and stuff, but we would like take their grass away and cut their lawns and do their hedge work and weed whack, and it was like a need was there, and so it was just like, it's the same customer and I can make more money on this customer, so we just did it. And then we had dumpster bags. We created our own version, and then we did dumpster rentals. I had a gutter cleaning business, and I was cross training people from junk on gutters because I wanted to keep them busy in the off season. And it was just, so at that point, it was just so much growth, and I never took the time to actually professionalize internal document like processing and creating systems of how to train people or how to do certain things. And then you look up one day and you're just like, this is just.
One day you got a junk guy that's never been on a roof is cleaning a gutter.
You're like, what's happening right now? Like, wait, how did this even happen? It's like the questions you're asking, you're just like, holy crap. And then to have to go back, because now you're really busy, and now all your time is managing the busyness. And then you're like, wow, I can't devote time in it. And now you do a full day, you get home, you're exhausted. Now you're gonna get back in the computer and try to let you do all this stuff. It's not the time to do that. You basically have to do that before you're really ready to even have that stuff.
It's like you're leveraging, like you're putting too much gasoline into your own engine before it's ready to really fire on all those cylinders. So then all of a sudden, all you're doing is trying to put out all the fires in which you created by building almost too much for just the one cause, which is growth. And I know that all too well.
You have a caller that comes in and they could be asking for one of 10 different services. You have no idea. Like, hey.
And then, see, because like even that, like in a perfect world, it's like, I think that's a great idea, but you do have to have like everyone trained on the phones, or you have to have like certain people on the phones that specialize in these certain things and put the customer in the right place. So it's like, I sell gutters, so it's like that's what that person does, right? And in a perfect world, like that person's only answering the gutter, so then they're maximizing that opportunity when that comes. And then a crew that does that, or a crew that can do, that plus one other thing. Like when everyone's doing everything like the Swiss Army knife, all of a sudden that's when the problems just arise everywhere. But it is easy. Like you said, it's like, it's easy to kind of get away with it, to get carried away with that, because when I was first starting and I was on the truck, I always felt like I can do everything. And I cared so much. I cared too much. I just was going to do whatever it took. So that I'm just like, I remember one time I was laying like the sheathing on someone's in their crawl space. I remember I was on my hands and knees. I'm cutting the sheathing and I'm laying it, and I was like thinking like, how did I wind up here? Like, I've never done this. I have no idea what I'm doing. And I showed up to like remove a hot tub or something, and before you know it, I'm just like, I can do this. I can do this. And I'm just like, I'm laying sheathing under someone's crawl space. And I don't even know, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to make a mistake. And then, you know, there's those realizations where I'm like, I can't be having other people do this because this is ridiculous. Because I do have the habit of saying yes. Everything's yes.
I will say this, that I've said yes to many things that I had absolutely no clue what to do. Like, sell the job and then figure out how to do it. Like, I definitely
There's a benefit to that, though.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, I think that's just like true entrepreneurialism, to just figure it out and like get it done. And a lot of times those are like those are the happy accidents that you would read about.
That's true.
It's like you would never have even done that, but you were just so eager and you just, you know, want to figure things out. And now with technology, I mean, you really can figure anything out. I mean, I remember having to search for YouTube videos and finding the right video to like figure out, like the first hot tub removal. It's like, how do I do this? And I remember it was a monster. It wasn't like a little personal, like cute little thing. It was like a tense,
built into a deck.
Oh, it was like this monster thing. And I was like, and the guy agreed to like $500, which was like the most amount of money ever. And the guy obviously was just like, how much? $500? Yes.
Go ahead, kid.
Yeah, go ahead. Come do it. And then you get there and you're just like, I don't even know like where to start on this. And then you just like figure it out. And then it's like, great. Like, oh, now we know how to do hot tubs.
That's
because,
true.
You know, but,
and you try new things. I remember somebody called me one time to remove a shed, and I get there and it's basically a house. Like, it's not a shed, it's an actual house.
It's like a barn.
And I remember looking at it and I'm thinking, I have absolutely no idea how to get this down.
Yeah.
But I was like, I probably told him $1,000, $2,000 or something. He's like, cool. And I was like, I was almost nervous he would say yes, but then he said yes anyways. And I remember just thinking... Did
you just start cutting?
Yeah, I was like, how do you eat an elephant? Just one bite at a time. And I remember just kind of taking this thing apart. And then like I'm trying different things. And before I know it, I got a cable and I took the cable. I even have a video of it. It was so long ago, but I took the cable and I just ran it through all the studs inside. I ran it up through the ceiling and like around. I wrapped it around. I did it. I stuck it to my truck and I just took off down the street, and the thing just ripped and came to the ground and fell into a bunch of pieces. But again, I don't want anybody else doing that because I probably could have hit his actual house and then caused myself irreparable damage.
For sure.
But like, you figured it out. Like,
sure.
that is some of the fun of any business, is like, say yes and then kind of figure out, make the mistakes. But it's like, if you're going to make the mistakes, you make it. That's kind of how I always looked at it. It's like, if we're going to make a mistake, it's going to be me. I don't want to put this on somebody else and then be like, you screwed up. It's like, if I'm going to go out there on a limb like that, I'm going to be the one to make the mistake.
Yeah. I remember cutting down a tree once. It was a part of the light landscaping.
That's light.
And it wasn't a full oak tree. You know, it didn't have many rings, you know, on the tree, but the picture was very deceiving. And even though it wasn't very thick, it was very tall.
Yeah.
And it was thick enough to like do some damage if it fell the wrong way. And I remember I got a chainsaw, and I've never used a chainsaw before. But one of the guys that was working with me was like, I could use a chainsaw. Great.
Yeah.
So I went to Home Depot. I bought a brand new chainsaw. You know, business.
Yeah.
You know,
business expense.
Business write-off expense, and I can use it at my house too. So he gets the chainsaw, and there was no oil in it, and so he used like 1 minute, and the thing just seized up because I had no clue. So go back to Home Depot. We go, figure this out. Have the guy repair it, whatever happened. Go back to the house and just try. And as he's cutting it, I'm just looking at this thing. I mean, it had to have been, I don't know, maybe close to 30 feet tall, 20, 30 feet tall. And he's just cutting. He's cutting away, and I'm like, is that the right angle? I don't like. Are you sure you know how to do it? Like, you're cutting the wedge out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, hold on, just stop. And I remember I'm like, all right, get the dump truck. Back it up to the tree. Let's tie. We had a winch on the back of the dump truck, so we were pulling bags up and in. So I'm like, why don't we tie the winch as high up as we can on the tree, and we'll pull it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll just pull it towards, and we'll be able to dictate where it's gonna fall. But I get, trees don't really work that way.
No, they don't.
Once they snap, they just go wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
You know, unless you have enough tension to really drag it. But we learned that, so it's going like this, and it's bending, and all of a sudden it's just like snap, and then it just fell kind of in the other direction, and it came so close.
That's the things that make you want to quit sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And I never did it again. That was one of the final blows of not doing landscaping anymore.
Yeah.
Just being like going back and looking at where do we actually make our money?
Yeah, there.
And are we top line again, revenue for Vanity? Yeah, we made money. The division makes money.
Yeah.
But does it actually make money?
Yeah.
For the take home,
Yeah.
which is all that matters. And then after further analyzation, it's like looking at all the time. It's like there's so much time on the back end for these types of jobs. It's not, like junk removal is a little simple. And
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, and dumpster rentals too. It's just like you're like in, you're out. It's just boom, boom, just like this. But then these other services, there was a lot more on the back end beforehand and on the afterwards, and you're just like, well, how much time are we really spending? How much money are we really making?
The thing about junk removal and dumpsters is the beauty of it is can also be the hardest part of it, because it is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, but you got to keep churning.
Yeah.
Like they got to keep coming. Like the services that are residual and they're just like, once you get a customer, you got them for life, or they're going every month. Like hard business to get into it. It's a slower burn, but like I love, there's a lot of benefit in those too. It's like if you're cleaning pools or pest control or
recurring services and that's why I wanted to jump into dumpsters so badly. I knew that moving into that division, I wouldn't cannibalize my customer base, which was very important, because that was a real conversation. It's like, well, but we're already removing junk from people's homes. If we now do dumpster rentals as well, are we just going to be cannibalizing our own customers? And now we have two ways of doing it. I don't know, does it make sense? But it actually opened up a whole new market of customers that would never actually use junk removal.
Yeah.
Because they need something there on site. And then with the contractors and relationships, it's recurring, and it's not in a sense of like we don't do front loaders at commercial lots where it's contractual like every other week. Like we don't do residential garbage pickup. Like that type of recurring is good, but the margins are so razor thin that I never.
You got to own the dump.
Yeah,
like most of them do.
Yeah, I flirted with that idea. I did research, and it was an opportunity that I was willing to take, but after analyzing it, it was just like it doesn't make any sense. But the recurring services with the small time renovators and contractors using us on all their projects throughout the year, maybe you get 6 dumpsters out of each guy. Maybe you get 12 dumpsters out of each guy. That was a big part, the recurring service. And then when I did gutters as well, that was the whole theme. It's like, well, if I do gutters, I know that I can cross-sell to my customers, because a person that buys one home service will typically buy another home service.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, I can cross-sell that. And I obviously did research too, talking to my own customers, saying like, what else would you spend money on?
Yeah.
Basically. And the gutter cleaning thing actually came up a few times. And so that's what prompted me to look into it. I'm like, well, let me look into this. And I'm like, oh, and there's a recurring thing. I can capture the customer one time, and I can literally pull them out of the market forever.
Yeah, you're leveraging your client.
Yeah, as long as I do a really good job and I maintain a good relationship, I can steadily raise my prices, and I can keep them there, once, twice, and sometimes 3 times a year with these customers. And then I built that business. I had a list of business that I was able to plan. I knew that every single year you'd follow up, they'd want the services, they'd sign back on. And I was really able to grow that. That's the company I ended up selling to a national guy who wanted territory in our market share. And I happily did it, because then going back to analyzing margins, where are we really making the money? And that was a very difficult service to find the right people, especially when we had so many jobs that we couldn't even keep up with anymore.
Yeah.
It was like finding people who can actually fulfill it and do a good job.
That's the right mindset too.
Yeah. I was just like, you know what? Someone's going to come in and give us a good multiple on this, and I can then take that money and put it in to the business that actually is really making the money and just grow that. That's what I ended up doing. Yeah.
And the for junk removal, like the wham bam thank you ma'am, like I'm saying, like where it's like they're quick hitters, but you got to keep it rolling. I do think that is the business, but it goes back to what I was saying earlier about like nurturing the customer, because it looks like that on the outside, but you can turn a lot of these clients into repeat clients if you treat them right. But I see so often these guys come into the market and they pay for a lot of customers, and they're just running through customers, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're just spending, like if you're spending money on every single customer, you're losing.
Yeah.
It's so hard to run a business when every customer
totally
is costing
catches
you
up
money.
with you. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's like you got to spend money in the beginning. You got to spend money to get those customers, but it's like nurture them because they're going to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a post on LinkedIn recently because I went through my, one of our locations got a review and it popped up, and I just something caught my eye. It was like I've used him 3 or 4 times. And then like you can go into your Google business profile and like search reviews, and I searched like 2nd, 3rd, 4th time, and the amount of reviews we've got where people say that, I was like, that to me is what I've always strived for, because like when you use me for a 3rd or 4th time, the margins are so high. Because the first time, like let's say it cost me $100 to get you, that sucks. I'm not making any money. I got to pay a guy, I got to pay the truck, got to pay the insurance, got to pay the dump fee, got to pay for the customer acquisition, I got to pay for all this. So it's like, it is on us. It is imperative that we do everything we possibly can to nurture this customer, to get them to come back. Because if everything is about that first time and we just try to squeeze a little bit extra out of them, we just charge them a little bit extra, we're just trying to sell them, but we don't focus on the service. Like, oh cool, we made 10% on this job. Yeah, exactly. But in reality, it's like if I would have just broken even, but just really focused on the service, they call me the next time, you're making a 90% margin.
And that doesn't even include the referrals from that customer as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which then expands, and that's a very hard metric to figure out.
It's impossible. I gave up a long time ago.
But you know that it's very positive.
Yes.
You know, and so.
Well, the revenue, I don't know if you've seen it, but like for me, the revenue follows the trucks. So it's like, that's another reason. And like, I'm not, at times it can hurt me, but I'm not a stickler. Like I've had many guys come up to me, like they ask questions that I don't even know the answer to, because I'm like, I don't focus on it. Like it'd be like, how many trucks you running? I'm like, I don't even really know off the top of my head. Or the big one is like, what's your average ticket? And I'm like, I have no idea what like it fluctuates, but like I don't focus on my average ticket, because let's say I go out and do a job and I don't make any money on it. There's still a lot of benefit to my truck being in your neighborhood. Yep. Your neighbors see it, and like going back to everything I said, the repeat referral, reviews, reputation, like there's all that, but there's also just my trucks in the neighborhood. There's door hangers that can be put out around it. There's a sign that can be put in that customer's yard. There's a sign that you can put at the top of the neighborhood. There's like,
and that's a cost-effective way of maximizing routing.
Yes.
Where you don't have to then send people out to just do door hangers. Yeah. And that's like a whole day of expenses. You just have them do it while they're out there on the jobs in those neighborhoods. Yeah. Hit 3 doors this way, hit 3 doors that way, or just do the whole neighborhood. Like, you know what I mean?
We call them opportunities. That's like in my business, that's a big thing that we do. We try not to call them jobs. We try to look at every job, every customer is an opportunity, because if you look at it, like let's say you brought it up earlier. It's like, well, they don't have a lot to do that day. They only have 2 jobs on the schedule, right? There's 2 ways to look at it. You got 2 jobs. That means you get to go to that job, you get to pick up a load, price it, hopefully make $500, go to the next one, price it, hopefully make $500. Maybe that's $1,000 in 2 jobs. Or you could look at it as like, I have an opportunity on this job to get a review, wow the customer, gain reputation, put out door hangers in the neighborhood while I'm there, maybe even knock on some doors while I'm in there, put a sign in their yard, put a sign at the front of their neighborhood. Everyone in the neighborhood sees my truck, get a review from them online. It's like, that's like 7 things. Yeah. So then if I have 2 jobs, it's like I have 14 really good opportunities today with just 2 jobs on my schedule. And if you look at it that way, there's actually a shit ton of stuff to do. Yeah. Like there is a lot to do with every single opportunity. So that's why it does come down to like, just get a few customers and then really work on everything that's involved in that customer. Take your time, nurture them, and before you know it, you're gonna be like, I'm too busy to worry about all 7 of these opportunities. And then that's when you're cooking, right? That's when it's good, because then that's when you start to be able to have the ability to scale. When all of a sudden you're too busy to worry about all those things, that means you're too busy. That means you need to get another truck. That means you need to take a step back. That means you need to be able to focus on like, make sure that truck is gaining every opportunity when it's on that job, because you're building a foundation, and like everything can come from those opportunities. It's not just about, how do I get a job? Yeah. Yes, that's important, but just get a job, get an opportunity, and maximize everything you can from it.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the door hanger, because I see a lot of this on Facebook specifically. The most commonly asked questions are, how do I price this job? which is like the most ridiculous
knows?
one.
Just
Honestly.
guess. Who knows?
But it really just used simple math. Like, how much is your dump? Like, and competitor shop in your area. Every area is different. Like, but you have to try to figure that out on your own. Because like someone from California getting a question from someone in Maine.
You
on
have
how to price the
ChatGPT
job, it's
now.
like,
Just go into ChatGPT and you say, I want a 60% margin on this job. This is how much I think it's gonna. This is how much the dump's gonna cost. This is how long it's gonna take me. This is how far I drove to do it. What's the price gonna be? Like you can do something as simple as that.
100%. I actually created a custom GPT that is a pricing calculator. It's
go.
completely free. It's called the Hauler's Edge AI, I think. If you search that in the custom GPT,
TM.
that's well, not long. But and it's completely free because I'm all about free game. That's why I write the newsletter and I do so much stuff that's free. I'm all about impact. Because I know it'll come back.
Yes.
And I want to help people. I really do. So I made that, and so you can actually take a picture of things. You can load your custom settings, like how big's your truck, how much is your full truck rate, like, and all that stuff, like where you're located, all the things. If you have employees, like how much per hour is the employee, what kind of mileage is in your truck, like you can really get down to the finer details, and then you upload a picture and it analyzes. And I've had guys from all over the country use it, and they upload their information. It saves to the GPT, and it's very accurate.
So no more $35 grills.
No. It's funny you said the grill thing. That was my first job ever when we did the junk. The first call was a grill, and it was $95 we charged in 2014 to go pick up a grill. And I remember it was right in the neighborhood. It was a grill too.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was awesome. I didn't end up picking it up. My story's a little bit different, but yeah, I remember that grill thing. But so I want to talk to you now about door hangers, because that's another thing. It's like, do yard signs work? Like, how do you design the yard sign? Like, the door hangers, like, how do you design the door hanger? And so I don't think the design really matters much. I think the information just needs to be clear. I think it's more about messaging on the door hanger. It's not really about design per se. So with my door hanger, it's very simple. It has our logo, very clear, states what we do, the couple services that we do, not a lot of information, just, who we are, how you can get in touch with us, how we can help you. And then we have a discount code, a non-expiring discount code.
So that's your call to action.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, and you can use that across any service. And the goal is to have people get it and say, because everyone's got junk, like you mentioned, but not everyone is ready to get junk removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the statistic is, 1 to 3% of any market is ready to move forward right now. So what happens with the other 97% of people?
Yeah.
It's like that goes to serve the other 97% of people who get that door hanger. If you put some expiration on it, it's like by the end of this month. It's like, oh well, I guess I can't use these guys. Throw it away.
There's also, I don't know if you've ever heard of the statistic. They say that it takes someone 27 touches to remember a brand.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about your door hanger as one of those touches, it's like, just brand it, right? It's like, I think about the door hanger as like, hey, if Susie is driving home from work and she passes her neighbor and there's a stand-up guy's truck sitting in her driveway, she'll notice it, right? Mm-hmm. And she goes home and she notices it but doesn't think much about it, because we don't think much about anything. Yeah, so you notice the truck and then you pull in your driveway, you go inside. And then later that day, you're like, oh, I got to go to Target. And you go out the door and boom, there's a door hanger sitting right there. And you're kind of like, oh, that was the company that was down the street. So you notice it, right? And then you get in your car and you're leaving. As you're driving past, you see like your neighbor that the truck was at, there's a stand-up guy sign sitting in their yard. So now I've seen it 3 times. And then I'm leaving the neighborhood like, oh, there's another sign. And then that right there, it's not 27, but it's like, I just got 4 touches for free. I mean, obviously some of it costs money, but it's like, we're not talking about Google ads. We're not talking about those other things. Like, I just got 4 touches in just like that from just being there. So that's when I kind of talk about like, yes, pricing is important. And yes, I'm not doing work for free, but I don't over stress about how much is this job costing. I want the truck in the driveway so that Susie sees it when she's driving home, right? And then it gives me that opportunity to put that door hanger. Because then what might happen? It might be a month later. She's like, I got to get rid of something. And then it'd be like, she might even forget the whole thing ever happened. And then goes on Google and types in junk removal and sees the baby blue and the logo that we have, and it pops up somewhere. there could be 50 other companies. Subconsciously, there's a good chance she's gonna remember it because she saw it 4 times in a matter of 30 minutes back when. So it's like she might not even remember where she saw it, but it's like I gained reputation with her.
It feels more trustworthy to her just instinctually.
Yeah, I know that from somewhere.
It's familiar.
Yeah, and so what happens, like, she clicks on it. Maybe I got to pay for it because she clicked on it, but she clicked on mine rather than everybody else's. And it wasn't that I just like have a really great algorithm, which is important, but it's like that wasn't really the case. It was the fact that like I branded in her neighborhood a month prior. You know, or a lot of times what we do is we'll send out mailers, and it'll be like, hey, we got this many jobs in this zip code over the next week. It's like let's throw out mailers to that zip code.
People that live in a certain area are typically very similar people. Yeah. And so that's why they have things like every door direct mail that you can then target specific zip codes.
But if you really care, don't just put the door hanger out, knock on the door. Because if she's home, you could always just be like, hey, not trying to sell you anything, but if you ever need anything, we just helped out your neighbor. This is what we do. Here's a business card, here's a door hanger, whatever it may be. Like, every once in a while you'll gain something from that. You might catch one, or they just might be like, whatever. It's like nobody likes door-to-door salesmen, so it's like I'm not saying like go there and like throw a pitch like, what's your internet service here? What's your provider? It's more of just like I'm just introducing myself. I'm not trying to sell anything. If you ever have any junk, because like it's one of those reactive services. People don't really think about it. So as soon as someone says that, you might be like, you know, I actually have this thing in my garage that I need to get rid of. How much would this cost? And then 2, it's like, you know how cheap you can take that because you're already standing right there. You don't need to worry about all these other things. Like, you take that couch for whatever you can get it because like you're standing right there. It's like, oh, I just have these boxes, or I have this fake Christmas tree that I never got rid of, and it's July. Like, it's like $30, $50, $100, whatever it may be. It's like you're just adding it to your truck, and it's like those things take effort.
So do you have a minimum charge that you?
Not when I'm knocking on doors.
Okay, so that's interesting. I think a lot of guys misconstrue the minimum charge because they're thinking too deeply, and they're like,
there's a minimum charge to show up
to get there and do the job. But if you're on the fly, you leave a lot of room for negotiation. You know, because make the money.
We have
get the customer's info.
I'm telling all my secrets here, but we have what we call it a FID.
Well, it's all about the execution.
Yes,
information can be found anywhere.
So we have what we call a FID. I name everything, so that's just part of what I like to do. But it's FID, so it's foot in door is what we call it. And we have FID prices that we will give to certain people if we're just trying to at least get our foot in the door. So it's like we will give some discounted prices just so I can show up in your neighborhood. If it's like, if I can send one guy to pick something up, that's like low on labor, right? And then while I'm in the neighborhood, I can put a sign, or I can I'd be like, I'll give you this price if you give us a 5-star review and let us leave a sign in your yard. And then while I'm there, I do these other things. And it's like, I'll not like, and I got that from being on the truck when I was young. It's like, I would do that. I was hungry, like physically hungry. I didn't have, I had no backing. I had no fallback. I had to go out and I had to learn how to make money, or I wasn't going to be able to pay my rent. At 22 years old, I had, I didn't I knew my dad's the best. My dad was a great guy, but if I called my dad, I was like, hey, I need some money. He'd be like, me too, kid. Leave me alone. I wasn't I didn't have a backing of any kind. So it's I never had a fallback. So I would learn I learned how to hustle. I would be knocking on people's doors, introducing myself. And that was my boots on the ground, early on. And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just trying to find work. I was just trying to kind of find my way. And yes, those things are really hard to duplicate. And it's hard to be this is our system and this is what everyone needs to do. And you need to do this and you need to do that. But if you're a solo operator and you're just getting started, you can do all those things. That's your skill set, right? That's what I was saying. That was a strength that I had at that time. Was I'm just a guy on the truck, so I can do these things that's really hard to get other people to do. I can knock on doors. I can go into every apartment complex when I'm driving past and give them a business card. I can go through apartment complexes at night and put door hangers on every single apartment. I've gotten calls from people basically don't ever do that again. But you can do those things when you're early on, because one, the only thing you're wasting is your own. I mean, you're not wasting your own time. It's you're just spending your own time, and it's you're either doing that or you're sitting at home bitching that there's no work.
Right.
So it's just action. Knock on the door. Ask somebody if they need anything else. Do you have any friends? Like just action, just go do
If you
something.
don't have any money, you typically have a lot of time.
Yes.
And so you use one or the other.
This is your strength is time. Go use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you have the capital to do it, try a different avenue. And it's like, there's ways to do it.
And you
but
can
like,
still use time even when you have money. Those tactics will still work and still produce. But if you don't have money, that's really two ways of marketing. Everything you're really talking about is hustle, and it's marketing, it's networking, it's all sorts of things. So using the time, if you don't have any money, use the time to do those initiatives.
Yeah.
And then when you do have money from those jobs, then put a portion into some sort of paid ads to try to ramp up a little bit more and keep doing all of those other things.
Yes. Keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you hear a lot of stories too, like 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Like Brian Scudamore's written a couple of books. I encourage everyone in the industry to go read. And it's interesting, the tactics that he puts forth. Obviously, this was way back in the day, but they still utilize a lot of those same early on tactics. Like they got these like little sticky notes that they use that are like door hangers. So they put like sticky notes like all over the place. Like they'll put it on someone's fence, or they'll put it on like stick it to someone's mailbox or on the front, like all over the place. And so it's like those same tactics of like early on getting started, building a business to where it got to. And obviously there was a lot more. It wasn't just sticky notes that grew 1-800, but that strategy helped them get through those stages, and they still do that to this day.
Yeah.
They still do those same things. They never forget about day one what worked, because people don't really change. Over time, like they'll obviously need to strategies need to develop, but us as people and how we think about service or product or marketing, the communication and the things that make customers tick, they don't really change, because it's really about just building trust with people.
It's just people. Yeah.
It's just people.
Just be the guy.
Be the guy.
Just be the guy.
People buy from people.
Yeah,
right?
that's very true.
They don't buy from businesses, and especially now moving forward. Like you hear, like personal brand is like all the rage, and you hear a lot of people talking about personal branding. Personal brand. Like, what does that really mean, though? All that really means is just like be the front-facing founder of your business, because when people hire a home service business person, you're coming into their home. It's a very intimate thing.
Yeah.
They want to know who the hell this person is, because you don't know if you're just ordering something from someone's website and there's no pictures of them, there's no about us page, it's just this static, nonsensical crap that ChatGPT just wrote. It's like, well, what does that tell them?
They
it's
assume that that's not what's showing up. Yeah, I think that's what happened is like when they don't see faces and they don't see people, or it looks too generic, they assume that's not who's coming, and then they might move to the next one. Because it like at least me, like I don't want to call a company. I would never want to call a company and then realize like I just called a third party, like hey, I called this company or I booked this job, and then they hire out a different company that comes. And yes, that happens, and like that's its own business. But like me as a consumer, I wouldn't want that. I want to know who's coming. And you're right, like the faces on it, and like
I can tell you from firsthand with dumpster rentals specifically, there's a lot of lead farms, as I call them. And they're just these websites that act like real businesses in areas. They're local. They have Google business pages somehow with locations. You think Google would be more on this, suspending real people, and then you have these lead farm guys who
they suspend the real people.
You're like, what's going on? And they generate real leads, and they sell to real customers, and then they subcontract people like us to fulfill. And so we obviously do a good job, of course. But when we get there, the customer's always like, "Who are you?"
You're about to know now.
And then of course, and we actually have good relationships with these lead farm places, and we make a lot of money off of them. But the point is the customer reaction, like what you were saying, they're expecting someone to show up, and then it's like, if they don't understand who's coming, it's like, whoa, now you're breaking trust.
Yeah.
And again, it just goes back to people, just human nature. It's like, who are you? I didn't order you. Like, what's going on here?
I can see the person. I mean, I don't know much about personal branding, but it's like I can see that, because a lot of people know Tommy Mello, but they don't know A1 Garage as much, right? It's like, or people know Elon Musk more than they know Tesla. Like there is the front facing founder, the personal brand that can really help. But it's like, if you're gonna do that, you got to go hard at it. I would assume, to really have a brand or a personal brand that people remember. Or like what you're saying is like, just be real. Yeah. Because like you're saying, people buy people.
For the everyday service provider who's not Tommy Mello, just show them who is behind the company.
Yeah.
Put your face out there. Talk about yourself, your role in the community. If you grew up there, that should be
Oh, I love it. I put myself in all of our videos.
That should be all over the place. I know. I've seen it.
Myself in all of our videos.
And those are great videos too. The humor is very memorable.
Yes,
and
that's
so I
true.
think you nail that very well. And so like the About Us page again, going back to that, it's like these guys that don't even have the About Us or some generic thing. It's like people want to know who it is. Like put your face there, even if you're ugly. Like just put it out there and tell your story.
Yep.
People want to know about that. People want to know your story. Should I look at any of these? I don't think we hit any of the questions.
Oh, we didn't?
I don't think so. Should I? Let me see. We can hit maybe one.
Actually,
let's look at these questions.
Questions.
So, a lot of them, I don't know if we should hit.
How do
these,
I
so.
price a job?
Well, kind of. It's like, so a lot of people. This is actually a really good one. So a lot of people talk about the end goal, like how much revenue or how many trucks or how much whatever it is. Was that ever something that you chased, or did you just love the journey?
Me.
Us.
That's a great question. That's actually a terrific question.
Yeah. So was it?
I would start. Well, it has evolved over time for me. So I think the most important question everyone should ask themselves is how do they define success? But it's going to evolve. Success is different to a lot of people. Success to some is just a title. Success to many is a certain amount of money in the bank. Success to some could be, I want to make $1 million with my business. Success could be like, how many locations do you have? And like, I've gotten caught up in that bullshit. Like success could be like, how many trucks am I running? Success could be, how many nights can I go blow a bunch of money at the strip club? Like, it's different to everybody, right? It's like success
all
is
valid.
Different, right? And it's like, when I was young, success to me and what I wanted was just to have a business that would pay my bills.
Yeah.
And then as I got
agree.
older, as I got slightly older, it really became what then like really catapulted me for a long time, which was success to me was my free time.
Yes,
That was what's like success, especially in my mid 20s, early 30s. I was so proud of the time that I had. I had built a business early on in my life to where it's like I could go on multiple times I went on a month to 2 month trip with who's my now wife. We went across country and back. I used to work out in the middle of the day every day. Like I had a group of guys, we used to work out and I would always work out at 12 o'clock. So it's like, to me, I had a business that gave me free time. And then as I started to have children, success really became like, what can I build and leave for my children when it's all said and done? Or what can I really stably provide for my family? Like, can I make enough money just to pay off my house so I don't have a mortgage, so I don't have to worry about these things? Like, success will change success in your own mind will change over time, but I do think it's extremely important, even though it might feel a little goofy, but is to take time and really analyze, like, what is success to me? I struggled at times where I knew what success was, and then all of a sudden I would shift and I'd be like, oh, I want this. And then I would forget internally really what I was after, and I would start chasing more vanity things, right? But I think it's good to always kind of come back to the center and like understand what success is. But to answer that question, other than paying my bills in the early stages, it really was like, how do I build a business that runs for me, not because of me?
Yes.
And so it gave me free time. I think we talked about it the first time we met. And it's like the book that really did kind of help me in that was when I read E-Myth Revisited, and like that really helped me build systems.
Michael Gerber, excellent book.
It helped me build systems and understand like how to have my business run itself. Yes. And then like, I've made plenty of mistakes. Like I'm not a know-it-all. I did get to the point where it's like I had this thing cruising, right? It's like I'm not really working that often, but then all of a sudden I started to see more shiny things. I wanted to open up here, up here, and then all of a sudden that free time was gone, but I had more locations, I had more revenue, I had more employees, I had more trucks, I had more of all this stuff, but then I had a little bit less time. And so then I've gone where it's like, okay, I need to trim, I need more profit, I need more stabilization. Like there's all these other things, but like I do think it's important. Like, yes, there's an end goal in mind, but just know that like business is a journey and things are going to evolve and change. If you're getting into this business and you're like, I want to be out in 3 years and this is what I'm going to do, it's like more power to you. But like I got into it as like, this is, I don't know if I want to say it's a lifelong journey, but this was like, I had long-term goals. I was thinking 10 years out.
Yeah.
I would write down goals. I would always be writing like 5-10 year goals. But then I'd always go back and look at them. And then it'd be like, oh, I really shifted from this or that. And like, but then often I would write down goals and I would achieve them.
Yeah.
Right. So I do think that's the important thing is like everyone has to look internally and kind of decide what it is, because I had a lot of people early on, I was mid-20s, late 20s, people were like, you should franchise, you should franchise, you should franchise. Like I had like built a brand and I got, a lot of people would tell me, this is a great brand, like you got a good business, like you should really franchise. And I never wanted to do it because at that time I was like, that's too much for me. And also I personally didn't want to work for anybody. And I kind of looked at it as like, if I start selling franchises, I owe them something.
Yeah,
and now
true.
I'm kind of working for them. And then the end, to button it up for me, like kind of where I'm at now and like really what my goal is. And it's been a goal throughout this whole time, but like a lot of where my focus is I really want to make people money. Like I have a lot of guys. I got a dude that's been with me for 15 years. I got another guy that's been with me for 12. I got another guy that's been with me for 10. I got multiple people that have been with me for like 8 plus years. I got a lot of 5-year guys. And like, I want to build something to where I can make them a lot of money. That is a much harder goal, and that puts a lot of pressure on myself. But that is like, that's where I'm at now. And it's like 5 years from now, that goal could shift. I don't know. I got little kids, and like that's where my focus is in my life.
Yeah.
I do have to balance, like business is important, but it's not what it once was, which it was my end all be all.
Yeah.
I have a family now, so my business is more of a support factor for my life and for my family. When it used to be my family, like it was my life. But yeah, I think I love that question, but I do think it's like, I think the most important thing we all must do is define success first. Because we might and really define it, because you might think you know what it is, but if you're just like, I want to be successful, that's such a broad term and it's different to everyone. It's like, like you're a great example. Like as I've gotten to know you, like you have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
And like you've built a business that really runs for itself, and like you have time to do other things that you really enjoy, and like that, like if I'm looking, I'm like, that's success. But like there's easily a lot of people out there that make more revenue than you.
For sure.
But they might be busy as shit and might be miserable, right? So it's like, don't worry about what anyone else is doing. You got to look inside and be like, what is it that I want? And like really think about it, because it can get pretty deep. Because like in the end, it's like a lot of us are searching for contentment. We're searching for happiness. We're searching for freedom. And some people are just searching for money. I don't know. It's like, so you got to kind of define that with yourself. But
money
like,
a lot of times can provide
yes,
all of those things.
Yeah, you're not doing any of that for free.
Right,
Yeah, that's true.
But so I think an interesting point, you're like, really like write down goals and like define what success is. And I've learned like this negotiating tactic for like yourself internally. When like you're selling something like a business, I've read countless, how to buy a business or how to sell business books and all these things. And it was always like, figure out like, what is the business worth for you, like to actually sell it? You write that number down, because then when negotiation time comes, everything kind of just gets thrown out the window when numbers start to come back and forth. And if you don't actually know, like, well, what would you have been satisfied with taking for something? It's just constantly changing, even in such a short period of time when these negotiations start happening. It's like, look back at that piece of paper to be like, well, they're offering me this, which is actually higher than what I was happy with like last week.
Yeah, exactly.
But now all of a sudden I'm not happy with this number anymore. But like, why? Like, what changed? And like, and it might be like, well, maybe the terms have changed and maybe you should try to get more. But it's like when you analyze things and for yourself before anything happens.
Yeah, when you're first getting where you want to be. Yeah.
It's like that is such a, it's like setting goals, setting like expectations, like what you want. I thought that was pretty interesting. But
you ever read Atomic Habits? I would assume
Yes.
you've read.
Yeah.
He talks about at the very end of that book, if I remember correctly, he talks about how he started writing a newsletter. And he reached 1,000 subscribers. And he said like it was like a dream come true. He like threw his own little party. He was like really celebrating. He was so happy. And he goes, fast forward 6 months, I was just so much was coming in. He was like, I was getting 1,000 subscribers a day, but I wasn't celebrating any of it because like the expectations had changed. And so like what you're saying is like ground yourself first and kind of know where you're at. Cause like if the expectations and like your own expectations and that own dance will change as things come.
For sure. And so for success, again, obviously changes for me as well. When I first started the business, I was like 24 or 25, and I had other businesses that I tried my hand at before then that failed or I pivoted out of for whatever reasons, scalability. I was really just trying to find something that could be an income producing asset was really what I was just looking for. What can I build that can sustain the ups and downs of the economy, that won't be taken over by technology, but with technology can really be amplified. Mm-hmm. And we landed on junk removal to start, and later into dumpster rentals. But it was always like, what can be scalable? What can be written down for a monkey to be able to perform? You know, like how simple can you make something that can just be repeated over and over?
Yeah.
And then through that process, I learned how to sell. I really understood how to market and how to sell, how to position. And then I took those skills and I developed that into like the gutter business, for example, where we built that. And it was all from the same skills learning early on and just going through that journey. But I never really loved like, I don't love junk.
It's hard to love.
I don't really love dumpsters. Like I don't really care. I love satisfying customers. Mm-hmm. Like that really makes me tick. Like seeing good reviews come in or seeing people who have bought from us like over and over, like have worked with us for years. So like we're their go-to dumpster guy and we're on all his job sites. Like that makes me feel good. It's like a people to people thing. Mm-hmm. So that is definitely one metric of success. But then it was really just it's time. It's my time freedom with whatever I wanted to do, whether it was if I wanted to try to grow the business, start another business, play golf, just bathe in the sun, continue education. And I didn't realize that going after time freedom, which was always the goal of like starting any business, whatever it was, income producing asset that can be done by anybody and that didn't need me to continue to do that, to do the jobs, to constantly be involved. And I just wanted freedom to just do whatever I wanted because everyone needs money. Yeah. You have to. Money is a part of life.
That's what you're doing it for too.
You need money to then be able to, but also money can provide impact for you that you want to make elsewhere. Like if you want to be really charitable, well, there's no better way to be charitable than to make a lot of money and then put those soldiers out to work for you in whatever type of charity or giving back in any sort of way. Obviously you can give to charity by just providing your time. Yeah. But what a greater impact that can be made to put money behind time as well. And, so that's a whole thing as well. And then I didn't realize until later when we started to start our family that, oh my goodness, like my time freedom, it's for my family.
Yeah. And how valuable it is.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like we don't do daycare. We don't do, we homeschool, or we will be homeschooling. My oldest is 4, but I'm with them every single day. Like I don't think I've missed a moment of like anything with my 3 kids. We have a 4th coming in.
That's invaluable.
About 2 months. Like everything now was just for my family, and I'm so grateful for all the hard work that I've done to give me the opportunity to just be present and not have to worry about things and just have the ability to do that.
Yeah. And success to some might be getting out of the house because they don't want to be around their kids. That's like I'm in the same boat as you. It's like my little ones, or I have little ones, so it's like I want to be around and like I want to spend as much time as I can. And if I just had a 9 to 5, it would be a lot harder. I mean, not impossible, but it would be a lot harder. So again, like I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for the decisions I made, but then also like all the hard work that I put in the beginning to build something to give me those freedoms. Yeah. So I'm extremely grateful for it. And it's, I didn't mention enough, but like for me, it is like what I've been able to provide others in compensation as well. Like that is something that I didn't ever predict would be something that would mean so much to me. But then in time, it really has, like tenureship with people, relationships that I built with people, even like I have like relationships that I built with people that worked for me that went off and they're like super successful in other things. And I've had guys come to me and be like, dude, I learned so much working there that like I gained all of these skills, and like they're grateful for the time they spent in my business. And that means a lot to me, because like, although it's like this, my business now is not me, it's a combination of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like, it is funny to think like I started this thing as just a teenager with a pickup truck and absolutely no clue what I was doing. But it over time has kind of turned into this thing where it's like I have multiple people that have families at home, and this business pays for those families, puts food on the table, puts a roof over their head, and like those things, when I think back or when I think about them, makes all the stress worth it.
Yeah.
Like that means a lot
becomes like
to
another
me.
driving force for you. Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see if we got one other. Let's see if we hit one more question and wrap this up. We could always save this for another time.
Yeah, you got more questions, the better.
I got one is how to scale from 30 to 50,000 a month in advertising. Let's skip that.
In advertising?
That was one of the questions.
You just need more money, don't you?
What's that?
Don't you just need more money?
I guess. But how do you?
Oh, how do you scale in 30 to 50 in revenue, or 30 to 50 in? It sounded like you said
maybe
in ad
with
spend.
advertising they meant to say.
Oh,
I don't know.
more clarification.
Let's just.
on that one.
Yeah. Do you run your own ads, or do you pay somebody? Yeah. What do you do?
I pay somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not as smart as you.
How to properly delegate? Let me just read the questions, then we'll hit one more. So, how to properly delegate? Where do you put your focus when doing 25,000 a month when you want to scale to 100,000 a month?
Delegate's a good one. I have one for that.
All right, let's do it.
So I have an entire philosophy behind this. And again, I'm going to go back. A lot of the things that I have tie back to being on the truck or starting a business. I call it moving to the passenger seat. That's how I look at delegating. So early on, I remember I was getting busy, right? So it's like a lot of the things I was doing were paying off, but I was just behind the wheel. I'm literally driving a truck and I'm answering phones. I'm the accountant. I'm dealing with new marketing strategies. When I go home at night, I'm working on SEO on our website. I'm the one that's bidding jobs. I'm physically lifting junk. Yeah. I'm the one backing up the truck and the trailer. I'm literally doing
truck and trailer.
I'm literally doing everything. And there was a day I remember I'm leaving the dump. I'm in that same '87 Chevy, and I didn't have AC. And this is Atlanta in the middle of July or August, so it's ungodly sticky hot. And I'm driving down County Services Road, leaving the dump, and I'm headed back to a job that went longer than I thought. And then I get a phone call, and it's a customer's like, hey, I'm looking to get rid of blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh, I gotta sound professional, so I roll up the windows, right? And I'm driving slow, and it's just sweat is dripping down my face, and I'm just like, I'm trying to act professional, and like to the point where, I'm trying to keep my cool, and then the guy in the passenger seat's getting all frustrated because he's just getting hot, and it's like he can't deal. It's like, so I pull off on the side of the road. And I'm talking to this customer, and then beeping in is the customer where we're headed, and they're like, "Where are you at?" And I'm trying to like keep my cool because and then I'm like, the person keeps beeping in, and I'm just like, God, like I can't get to that call while I'm still trying to talk to this person. I'm trying to write down their address, and I'm trying to just make sure it doesn't sound like I'm super busy. And all of a sudden, boom, the truck dies. I ran out of gas, and like I look over, and like I had gotten so flustered. Because I was like late on this job, I was late to another one. This one ran long. I'm thinking like, do I have any money to pay for the dump where I just went?
We can all relate to this.
All of it, right? So I'm just like completely stressed, and then on top of that, I'm just drenched in sweat. And then the truck dies. And I remember I'm just talking. I don't even know if I finished the conversation, but then I got out of the truck and I'm just sitting there, and I remember thinking like, what the hell am I doing? Like, this is not what all I wanted to do was be busy. It was like, I just want more customers, and then I'll figure it out. And as soon as I had all these customers, I didn't know what to do. And it's like, that moment was like, I had hit like rock bottom while being busy. And, you know, I found a way to get gas, whatever. I probably finished the day, whatever. But then I went home and I started trying to figure out, like, what am I doing? Like, I have to figure out something, but I got jobs tomorrow. Like, I got stuff to do. And I got one employee. Like, I don't have options right now, but I got a lot of work. I got a beat up truck. I got all this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and I'm driving the truck. I don't know how I can do anything. And that's when it dawned on me. And I was like, I have to replace myself as a driver. But I was like, I got to go find somebody. I got to train them. I got to teach them how to price. I'm thinking about all these things. I'm like, that takes too much time. I don't have time for that. I gotta need a solution now. And then I was like, and then it dawned on me that it's like, I'm just in the wrong seat. I don't have to get out of the truck. I'm just in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
The next day, the kid that's been working for me all those at that time, I was like, look, you're driving today. And so then I go in the passenger seat. And that simple move became my philosophy for how I grew the entire business. So I moved to the passenger seat and he's driving. I still do everything else that day, but he's just driving. So I can kind of focus on some other things. I mean, at least not dealing with stop signs, right? It's like I take one thing off my plate. And then the next day I'm kind of like, okay, you can do, like, you know, I start teaching him other things that I was doing as a driver. Here, come walk with me. We're going to bid this job. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And like things like that. And then I realized, I was like, oh, replacing the passenger is super easy. Replacing the driver was hard.
Yes.
So I became the passenger. And I taught him what to do and I trained him while I was the passenger. So I'm just I'm delegating a little bit at a time. And then all of a sudden it went so fast where he learned how to drive, and all of a sudden, all that pressure and that stress of like, I got to teach this guy this, and how am I going to do that if I'm not on the truck, blah, 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 blah. I was able to do it while sitting in the passenger seat. And then once I felt comfortable with him, all I had to do was replace the passenger. And that's the easiest thing to do. So then next, I replaced the passenger. And then before I knew it, it was like, I need another truck. I mean, it was like, it was weeks later. I was so busy that I bought another truck, and then I had to drive it. And then I did the same thing. And then I duplicated it, and before it, then I'm off the truck. And then I'm dealing with the trucks. And I'm still doing a lot of things, but I'm not driving the truck anymore. I'm not hauling the junk anime. And then
so you're replacing yourself basically one roll at a time.
One roll at a time. And so I still had a lot to do, right? And then I was managing. I'm managing all these crews. I'm delegating. I'm doing all these things, right? And then I realized, you know, it probably was a little bit more time, but once we were running about 3 trucks, I was like, I can't do this and do everything else. So then I had the same guy that was the original driver. I was like, you're gonna come in the office with me.
Okay.
I taught him how to answer the phones. I taught him how to like route the trucks. I taught him how to do our huddles in the morning. I kind of taught him how to run everything, and then I took a step back.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there with him, so it's like we're running the location. I'm like an assistant manager at this point. I'm in the passenger seat, and he's running. As soon as he's really got a handle on it, then I moved to something else. Then I just became like the full-time salesman, and then I was terrible at that. But then I go out and I hire that, and then I'm like the assistant salesman, and I'm just working with him, and like we're kind of developing a sales system together. And eventually it's like, okay, you don't need me anymore. Then I move over here, and every time I take a step back to the passenger seat, we grew. So it was like every time I took a slight step back, where I didn't just like try to do it all at once, because if you do, I probably did that a few times and it would blow up in my face. So instead I was taking incremental steps back, and every time I would take a step back, it was like this weight was lifted off of my shoulders, but then I would get bored in a weird way. And boredom for me always creates more action. And then as soon as I was creating more action, I was developing more work. So then as soon as I developed more work, I was super busy, and then I needed to take a step back again. So I think the delegating aspect for me was always go to the passenger seat, get a little bored, generate more work, take another step back. Because like you'll always find where it's like if you're working on the business, you will get overloaded with work, and then it always gives you the opportunity to take a step back, let somebody take on whatever's the most busy.
Yeah.
And like those steps helped me to, like I did the same thing, and like the scale of it changed, but before you knew it, it's like we were in we were in 8 cities in 5 states.
Yeah.
And it happened pretty rapidly once I came up with a simple idea to just move to the passenger seat.
And see, and if you boil it all down, it's really a simple, methodical approach. You know, it's not this grandiose thing.
Because people have asked me, like, how do I get off the truck? And I'm like, don't worry about that. Just don't drive it anymore. Like, it does come down to that. Because, like, once you're not driving, you do realize, like, this role is easy to replace.
Yeah.
It's really hard to replace both at once. Like, it's hard to do a lot of things. But, like, for my simple brain, that was the best way for me to do it. And it's like, I'm not being I am being self-deprecating when I say this, but it's like, I wasn't that savvy. I wasn't like, I have all this business savvy. I read these books and I went to school, or I had none of it. So it's like everything had to be simple for me. And it's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah,
That's kind of
sure.
what I mean by that. But yeah, it was the simple act of just moving to the passenger seat, and it would free up time. And whenever I freed up time, I'd work on the business.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first got off the truck, I remember, like, I would sit, we didn't even have an office yet. I would, like, sit in my apartment and I'd just, like, stare off at the wall. Like, I didn't know what to do. If the phone wasn't ringing, if it wasn't like, hey, we need help, like, where do I go next for my job, or a customer wasn't calling in, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, no fires to put out. It's like this,
so then I would,
this
like,
strange
I
calmness.
got my laptop and I was like, I'm going to learn about SEO and websites. And I started learning, and it's like, I just started learning things here, and then all of a sudden that became too much. And then, like, there's, like, you know, I can't manage these trucks and deal with all the advertising at one time. Like, so it's just like that slow step back, but you'll see it seems like small steps, but they're big. They're actually monumental steps, because most people can't get past that first one. A lot of single operators in home service businesses, they stay driving the truck. So it's like, just move to the passenger seat and do a simpler job. And then once you can do the simple job and this business is still running, just replace the simple job.
You're also learning as you go. And so by you being able to learn the next step, or whatever new role that you're now replacing yourself with, and now you're learning something new, and then will ultimately replace yourself again, you now know what a good job is as well, because you now understand that role. So now when you hire for that, you understand what is a good job, and then you can set those expectations, or you can see if they are doing well or not doing well. Because I think a lot of people just get in because they think they need something in the business, but they don't know anything about how to do that. So they just hire someone, and they're just like, well, I don't know, I hired you, you should know what you're doing, but they don't know how to actually qualify that. And then, you know, 6 months go by or a year go by, and they're working with someone in some part of their business, and there's nothing's
failing.
nothing's happening. It's like, well, I think having enough of an understanding on what a good job is in each role is
true.
really, really important.
And I think we all have to there's a phenomenon that a lot of us deal with, especially when you're starting your business yourself, that you'll realize really quickly is, and I've dealt with it, I've heard a lot of people say it, is like, no one can do this as good as me.
Yeah.
And then the phenomenon is, you realize really quickly that you're not as great as you think.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's like, how quickly I realized is, like, there was a time when I realized I was like, we call it a crew leader. At the time I didn't even have a name for it, like the person running the crew, like driving the truck. And I remember thinking, like, yeah, I'll train somebody. Like, no one will ever be able to do it as good as me. And then I realized very quickly after a short period of time, I was like, some of these guys are way better than I was.
Yeah.
And so I think there's like that, and what you were saying earlier, like putting people in the right places. But to get past that, like, no one can do it as good as me, because if you get stuck in that, you'll just always be doing that thing, and then you'll never be able to, like, take a step back. And if you can't take a step back, it's just you're in the business, not working on it.
Yeah, and that never really goes too well, because you can only do so much by yourself.
Yeah.
You can do.
You are the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can only do so much. You only have so much time. You only have so much energy. Like.
Yeah. It's like when you're doing everything, it's like your floor and ceiling are right here.
Yeah.
Every time you take a step back, you're raising your ceiling a little bit. It's like, but you don't want the floor and the ceiling to be right next to each other, because, like, it's, you know, you can only go as high as the capacity that you have to do it, and then the floor is right there where it's like, if you get sick, there's not your business isn't running that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think something that I learned was no one can ever do it as good as you. Like, that was something that I thought for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I came up with, like, but if they can do it like 70% as good as me,
two people, that's 140%.
you know, it's like, but that was like my theory. It's like, well, if they could just do like good enough, but then that role is now, I don't have to do that role. And now the new role that I'm stepping in, I can put 100% in, and that would create so much more impact for the business. It's like, it's okay if you're hiring and they can do 70 or 80% as good of a job as you, and just know that like, if no one might be able to do it as good as you. Not having the right person is really what that is.
Yeah.
And that the right person might not be available. So having someone that can do close to as good of a job as you, but then it frees you up to then do something that creates more impact on the business, where you can then grow the business. The business will still grow.
Yes.
Even though the people aren't doing as good of a job as you.
Yes.
You can now put your efforts elsewhere and still grow the business.
That's beautiful. What is that?
That's the Air Force Base. It's 10. That means it's 10 o'clock.
Is it like a band?
They play. I forget what it's called. They play it. It's 5 o'clock. They play some song. You know this song. What is it?
That means it's 10 o'clock? That's awesome.
Yeah. Do you know the song?
No, I don't.
Don't you play music?
You're
supposed to know all music.
No, I literally will fumble around with a guitar that I taught myself. Like, I don't know any. Like, if you hand me something, I can make noise with it.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So, do you want to wrap it up, or do you want to?
Yeah, a beautiful way to end it.
I think that's good. So here's the other question, just so you know. Do you want to do this again?
Yeah, it was fun, man.
All right, cool. Yeah,
The more direction we have, so we don't go back over the same things.
Yeah.
Because I probably have a habit of just like, I'll tell the same stories or go over the same shit. Because yeah.
All right, cool. So the other one was what to expect when you're going from solo operator to having 2 to 3 trucks and 3 to 6 employees. So that's
I can spend all day on that.
Yeah, another growth question. What percentage of your jobs come from Google versus Meta versus LSA versus SEO versus referrals? That's one of them. Sorry. If you had to start over in a new city with $5,000, where would you put it first? That's another question.
That's a good question.
I like that one.
That's a really good question.
At what fleet size do you bring your first mechanic in-house? And was it driven by more downtime or by total annual repair spend? You must outsource that still.
I've never had an inside
mechanic.
Yeah,
me either. The reason
mainly for me though is because I was scaled outwards instead of just everything under one roof.
I just don't trust myself to have that internally, because I would rather put the onus on outside professional than if something went wrong.
Yeah.
Because then if something goes wrong internally,
what am I gonna do?
That's just that engine is just. Sorry, boss. I thought I was putting the
Sorry, boss.
That truck is just completely dead.
Yeah.
Like
There's nothing I could do but fire you. I don't know.
Yeah, right. There's no recourse here. It's just like, so I don't know if I'll ever bring a mechanic internally.
I've never even thought of that.
Yeah, no. I don't even do oil changes. Nothing. I won't. No one touches those trucks
except for the professionals.
Yeah,
that's smart.
Because
I'm the same way.
I just want.
I know so little about them that I'm like, I don't. No, absolutely not.
No, I agree. All right, so here's another one. How do you think about acquiring trucks today? Lease versus finance versus cash, and how has that strategy changed as you scaled? Used units for price break or new for bonus depreciation? That's a great question. That's another good one that I get all the time. It'd be fun to hear crazy stories about employees or unexpected surprises and how you dealt with challenges. That's another. Wow. All right. We've got a lot of material.
Yeah, we do. That'd be fun.
All right. Yeah. So that's great. Okay. So we'll do this again.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets some kind of response.
Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of put it on the internet and I talk into the camera enough. I'm not really sure if anyone ever listens, but I speak to my phone.
I'm talking to the ether. Someone must be there.
Sometimes someone comments and I'm like, so all right, so one person saw this.
That's got to be a good way though for you to like gather your thoughts and like be more, because like I do know like the more I talk about a certain philosophy, the more I talk about certain things, I refine them in my mind, and then I can explain them easier.
Oh yeah.
Because
I've never learned more than when I started writing the newsletter. I started that 2 years ago. And so then to actually put what I know in a way that can be understood by someone who doesn't know has just helped me understand it even better.
Yeah, so we have quarterly meetings, so I bring all my managers in. So there's my managers and like my leadership team. So there's about anywhere from 12 to 15 of us every quarter, and we all sit in a room, and like I basically present to everyone and I go over different things, and like that alone has helped me. Like I don't ever want to waste anyone's time, so it's like I really go through my thoughts. I try to flush out the shit that's gonna like not go over, and I try to come up with the easiest way for it to like be digestible for them, and that's really helped me because like before doing those, everything was just kind of in my head. So as I had to like force myself to like present on certain topics or like dive deeper into like, hey guys, we're gonna try and push this or this. It's like you gotta when you're gonna talk to multiple people or make a video, it's like you really do want to know as much about that topic as possible for when the questions come. You got to know it, right? And like that, I even make my guys, what we started doing about 3 quarters back is like they present to us too. No, so everybody gets up, because like I think the more you think on things, the better you can be at it, for sure.
And what's the saying? I don't know who said it. It was like, you don't know a topic well enough if you can't explain it to like a 5-year-old or something.
Einstein
was that Albert Einstein?
He goes, if you can't,
I'm quoting Albert Einstein. I don't even know who this guy.
He said, he goes, if you can't explain it simply, you don't know it enough. I think that was the exact. Okay. I think that's like about the quote that he said.
That really sticks in my head.
Yeah, it's got to be simple.
Yeah, like so if I can't just break it down, because my wife asks me questions sometimes about certain things, and I'm like, well, what do you see, like about like AI.
It takes like 4 minutes to explain.
And I'm like, well,
you see, I just lost it.
You know, because over here and they're
like,
trying to.
You don't really get it.
Yeah, exactly. And then with like trying to explain that, I'm like having this internal dialogue with myself. I'm like, what, do I even know what the fuck? Like, do I even know this? I'm answering a question about something, and I'm just
am
like,
I just talking?
I don't even think I know this. But I'm like here just talking about like, yeah, well, you see.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun, man. Let's.
I think that was really good.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, if questions are coming in and shit, man, we'll have all kinds of.
Yeah, I think we'll keep this rolling. I mean, if anything, just have a cigar.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah.
So even if no one watches, we'll just say that
we can watch it.
We'll tell our wives that it's successful. Hey, listen, it's every week. No, we have to.
Everyone's counting on it.
Yeah, this is